till you bottle. Ride it on the edge. One mistake away from gravel, a glory's ledge. Push it past the limit. Don't you lift or break. If you're not dancing with disaster, you're not wide awake. Throttle till you bottle. This is how we race. In the fire of endurance, we find our place. Side by side into turn 3. Drafting down the straight like we're born to be. F1 pace with an LMP soul. Pit stop dreams, flat out goals. Overtake clean or defend like hell. DRS wide and the gap won't dwell. Discord's lit but the track comes first. Champions are built where the tires burst. Throttle till you bottle. Feel the G's rise. Tearing through the sim world under pixel skies. No reset button, just grit and gears. Through the heat and the heartbreak, the wins and the tears. Till you bottle. It's the racer's creed. Full send in the sim, full heart at speed. From rookies to vets, we ride the storm. In lobbies where legends are born. Camaraderie and chaos, rivals and mates, one shared love. Those checkered flag fades. Throttle till you bottle. Ain't no turning back. Burn the line till the screen fades black. In this digital circus, we chase the flame. One wheel spin closer to fortune or fame. Throttle till you bottle. That's our name. Sim racers united in the ultimate game. Sim racers united in the ultimate
Ladies and gentlemen, it's another week of the tremendous throttle to your bottle, and you've got the two of the best in the commentary crew to bring you through all the action, not just because, well, 2 is the magic number today, not just for the commentary team, but also for the cars we'll be taking part in. My name's Carl Paranik, alongside me for another week of fun-filled extravaganza. It is, of course, Rio Harris. Rio, welcome in. Something a bit different. We're in the F2 cars again, which is great to see.
Couple of times is Candy Floss by half a second in the lovely Trident, currently ahead of Theo Baller in Prema, and then the Dams of Highwire in third, then Mackie in I was going to say third, made that fourth as Yuri, I'm hoping to make this race a Dutch delight. The home hero goes to the top of the time page at 18.638, and Mackie in fifth with a 20.0, and then Shaolin B, Yuri's championship rival, a 20.8, and those are the 6 drivers so far who have set times.
Bit of a slow burner in Formula 2 is Chaldenby, but we also have to check tyres to see if they've done anything different. The answer is no. Every driver on the medium compound tyre. Rather interesting is Infinity goes fastest, has an affinity, if you know what I'm saying, with the F2 cars. He, of course, won on track in Shanghai. What could have been an absolutely fabulous fairy tale quickly descended into the deepest pits of despair as power sliding the car. Absolutely ragging it through Hugenholtz block. Is Infinity. Fair play to him. Holds the fastest practice time by a 1/10 of a second. We've got some great names in today. We've got Nola in the Trident, who has stole it. Prized it away from Adam Sanderson, who has had to resign, well, he's had to resign himself to the MP Motorsport car, which is so unfortunate. But interestingly, me and Rio were talking before this broadcast started, in fact, about who's won so far this season, and we've discovered quite an alarming statistic. Rio, do you want to tell the people?
Well, so far this season, we have had 3 race winners. One of them is currently alongside me, and that's Carl, who won his only race this season. The other 2 are, they've won 3 apiece. Yuri Aarons and Sheldon B. They've won 3 a pop this season in the opening 7. I thought there was a lot more, but no, it's only 3 different race winners in the opening 7 rounds. And based from the stats of how Zandvoort's previously gone, Yuri has never lost a feature/Grand Prix race in his home Grand Prix. But he's won a sprint race here, so could he get his first home sprint race win today? It will be a question. But like you said, not many different race winners this season so far.
He's putting himself on the map very well, is Yuri, on board with the man, donning the Campos car, the Red Bull livery, as he heads on through what is, I believe off the top of my head, Sky Black, I think is the corner name, don't quote me on that, but through the right-hander, roller coaster ride, just a shift down to keep the car in the optimal power band. Then you're using a tiny bit of that curb, maybe a bit of time on the table, you can clip that curb more than you think into the tricky braking zone of the right-hander. You have to roll the car through, and then you rag the front end into the apex. As lagging off the track goes one of the Trident cars, that's Nolla, into the gravel. Might just have been getting out of the way. I'm trying to spot if there's a front wing on the car. Hopefully there is for his sake. But back to Yuri. Currently, well, according to that delta, was 16 seconds down, and is still 16 seconds down. So obviously taking it very easy for the time being, but he's hit the ground running, as has this man, Sneck, pretty in pink, and that's a perler of a lap time, the first one into the 17.
Oh no!
There he goes. You can only have so many good things. Oh, it's the impossible as he nearly takes out his teammate. Well, his pink prince residing for good measure. That's not Highwire, that is the other blue car of RVK in the other BWT car. Almost to the spare, but the first driver into the 17s.
Exactly. A statement lap time, obviously, we've seen a couple of misfortunate events. He could have been one of the race winners this season. He could have been a 4th different race winner if it wasn't for, example, the bottle in Mexico or the unfortunate event in Texas with the puncture. But a 17.8, the first driver into the 1 minute 17s, like you mentioned. That's an absolute stonking lap time. And obviously, Yuri still up in 3rd, still on the track driving through. There's yellow flags up in the opening sector. Might have been for one of the VARs, not too sure on that occasion, but Yuri, I think, is maybe pushing on once again as we go down the back straight. There is another pink car spun around. That might actually be Sneck again, I'm not too sure. As towards the end of the sector, with Yuri up by 0.3 per second as Noel has disconnected from the session. Yuri on for a better time. As it stands at the moment, only on for 2nd place with us after Sneck had their statement lap in the Prema. We used to see Prema in Formula 2 up there, but of recent times they had some struggles. But round the final corner, around the banking, DRS enabled quite some time ago on the mid part of the corner. As over the line we go is Yuri, the man chasing championship glory, up in the 2nd place with an 18.266, but still, Carl, a monumental gap between himself and Sneck.
Exactly. Does have the older tyres. We'll have to see what Sneck does on his tyres as he goes through. We, of course, don't know what fuel loads everybody is running as well, whether they're fully simulating that feature race as Sneck gets it all crossed up on the outside curb. So easy to skate over it like Tony Hawk, and there's proof in the pudding right there as Theo, the golden baller, sets a very, very decent lap time indeed. We've also got both the MP cars line astern. Fortis and Adam Sarnason, hair's breadth away from each other, currently reside on the 3rd row as it would stand. Chowdhury's also woken up, a bit of a slow burner in the F2 cars. He's also into those 1 minute 18s. The driver I do want to highlight though is this man, Sheehan. Monumentally quick, Rio. We saw it last week, was giving the likes of Yuri and Chowdhury a very good run for their money. We know he can probably win the race. In fact, he has more than enough potential to do so. What do we think has to change in the context for his season, maybe this race, to give him that opportunity?
I mean, it's more just the consistency, because you saw in Imola, did what Charles Leclerc did in 2022, obviously spinning on the entry of it, the rear just snapping away, and also it's just the track limits as well. Obviously, around Zandvoort, it is typically hard to pick up those warnings, but the curbs are deadly. If you get it just a little bit wide, you can either be careering into the gravel or into the wall, or worse, both, because when you're on the gravel, you're just skating across, flying into the wall. Sheehan over the line, into the top 5 with an 18.7, just under a second away from the fastest time we've seen so far. Someone I do want to highlight, though, Solar Cindy, on the wet tyres for some reason, so I don't know what they'll be learning, but in Formula 2, they are very, very quick. In Formula 1, obviously, it's a separate story. In Formula 2, this is where their single pole this season came. Remember back to China, as drifting through the chicane with Cindy. They got their only pole position in Formula 2 back in Shanghai. Can they repeat it again, Carl? And crucially, can they convert if they get pole, or can they just convert any starting position into a win in Formula 2 this weekend in Zandvoort?
That's the age-old question. Same kind of crux that Sheehan faced in terms of that overall consistency. But into the pit lane goes Solar Cindy at maximum speed. And, well, to be honest, it could be worse. He's not completely above the 107% rule like Nola, who is currently 30 seconds off the provisional fastest time. We've got the likes of Infinity, only a few temps down, but again, they're just testing the tyre wear, testing how the car will behave as we get through that sprint race. It's Adam Sarnason who went faster. There you go, by a quarter of a second, moves his way up to P5, still, all the while, is sliding out of Hugenholz's block. Goes the MP car. Sheehan goes even faster on back-to-back push laps, an 18.3 now, as he continues to ramp up the confidence in that Virtuosi car. Challenby still trying to find something, but he's just started a lap. A massive lockup on the front right-hand tyre, and that's what he can ill afford to do. The tyre, well, depending on what compounds they run in Formula 2 at this track, it can really hinder your progress. So that's what he can ill afford to do. But that's the thing. That's why Challenby still holds the lead. It is a narrow margin. As meanwhile, we have oohs and ahs. I see a yellow flag, and it's a dark grey spot. It's not Katie, so that means only one driver it can possibly be in the Campos. Yuri, I think, might have had a moment.
Yes, they did on the exit of the corner. Just understood out wide, struggling for front end grip. You saw I saw the front end just slide a bit on entry and then just drifted out wide, tapped the grass of the traction. They did a lovely pirouette, which was probably quite satisfying to watch. But for the tyres, not finding that nice. Sneck called it quits on this practice session as we have just around 2 minutes to go. As actually there is an Invicta parked in the way, and they just reset the track as well. That could have been quite the calamity, considering that the car wasn't ghosted as well. Yuri maybe just trying to make some gaps now as he pulls across the track as one of the TGR livery cars come through. Then there's multiple Red Bull liveries coming through, and Yuri has actually just stopped on the track for some reason.
Challenby trying to cross the line to improve his fortunes. Does a little bit by 1.5 temps up to P8. Meanwhile, in terms of everybody else's progress, Duty, notoriously, a pretty quick qualifier in the Formula 1 cars. Not finding so much fruit to bear in F2 at the moment. Sits P11 in the practice times. But minute gains can mean monumental advantage. Could well find himself up, well, 3 or 4 places if he just gains a quarter of a second, if not 3 temps. So there's not too much to try and dwell in despair for. Elsewhere, RVK's moved up to P12 in the pink machine. We've got teammates for this, well, in the VAR cars, Mindmaster and Spaceboy in P15 and P16. Katie in P18, who is into the 1 minute 19s. Plenty of progress there still to find. Cindy hasn't set a lap time on the mediums yet, though I'm wondering if this is their first lap in anger on the dry compound tyres. And I watched back footage of Cindy in the Formula 2 car at Shanghai, and he absolutely eviscerated the steering on that lap. But that's the trick of F125. That's how you be quick, and he's got a purple Sector 1 here already.
Absolutely flying, and like I mentioned, just Cindy just seems to have much more grip in the Formula 2 cars, swinging the ART car around, just the steering, just so aggressive. And I was speaking to him prior to the race. The setup, the wings he uses is a monumental gap. Just an example was in the Canada race he did on Wednesday, I think it was. He was using 22 on the front wing and then 0 on the rear wing. He loves an aggressive front end because he just loves the it gives him the rotation, just gives him the lap time. But then the question is, especially a track like Zandvoort, surely the rear tyre is just going to completely complain. We see it in Formula 1, just how they have to do the 2-stop because the tyres are just wear all that much. As we come towards the line, DRS has been enabled already. As towards the line we go is Solar Cindy crossing the line. 7th fastest for the ART at the Tanidran in the Red Motorsport. And then, rearing into the wall.
It is a cruise missile crash from Solar Cindy. Really did send that car into Galactic, and that is a sad, sad way to end. But it is P7 with their sole flying lap. Did touch the gravel and grass a couple of times, but equally, well, as Adam Sarnason's moved up to P3 as well, completely missed that. Sarnason in the MP car, he's woken up and is only a few tenths off of Sneck. Only one driver left to retire, and that is Tanidran in that McLaren liveried car. That is the Rodin Motorsports car. And that will bring an end to practice. So, Sneck, with the only driver to breach the 1 minute 17 barricade, is the fastest of the session. Yuri in P2, Adam Sanderson in P3. What that means is we are set out for a sensational sprint spectacle in a matter of moments.
The sprint, we we will have the one-shot qualifying. This to determine both the grids for the, I believe, will be in the one-shot qualifying. Both for the, we'll decide the grid for the feature race, but then obviously in Formula 2, the top 10 get reversed. So, example being, if Sneck qualified on pole position, they would be starting 10th for the sprint race, which just allows monumental racing, because you see it consistently in Formula 2. And if there's like race safety cars in the sprint race, there's always a chance for drivers at the back who've got nothing to lose just to chuck on a set of the, I think it might be soft tires that they use around Zandvoort here in Formula 2. But nonetheless, you're always guaranteed racing within the second division of the Formula ranks. And in Formula 2, here's a fun fact to you. The lap record was obviously set in 2022 by Felipe Drugs, a 1 minute 20.713. And based on practice, we're pretty much 2 seconds ahead of it already.
Slaughtered it. Absolutely slaughtered by Sneck. Unbelievable. Who's looking for even more tasty affairs in the quest for pole position as we head through in a matter of seconds' time to one-shot qualifying. And no need to put the pressure on these drivers, but we're going to anyway. It's paramount that they get it right, because if they don't get it right, they're in the bin. And particularly if you're a championship contender, you can ill afford to do that. Yuri finishing P2 in practice, Ttyb towards the end of the top 10 in P9. But all fortunes can change in an instant in qualifying. Away we go for a lap of the Zandvoort circuit. Sheehan leads currently as we go across the line. Everyone even Stevens for now, but we'll see if Sheehan's in control as they head through into turn 1. The answer is yes, he is, but tentative on the steering. Not quite used to the way the Formula 2 cars are working, and of course it had to be the Prema, the lean mean machine of Sneck, just ragging the front end through Hugenholz's block. Carry it narrow, let the camber of the corner do the work. It's not conventional, it's not like real life, but this isn't real life. Get used to it. Now, on board for this wonderful corner called Sky Black. Does he lift? Hardly. Has to change down again to keep it in the power band. But Sneck is absolutely flying out there. And there's proof Sheehan wasn't even driving. Through the right-hander goes the Prema car. Solar Cindy has fallen off. Down to P20. That's an invalidation he could ill afford. Sneck and Yuri. The ball's in their court for pole. But Sanderson and Ttyb aren't far behind.
Make our way towards the final sector of the racetrack. Sneck in the Prema, the Alpine livery, standing out in the sunset skies in Zandvoort, just side of the beach. As we make our way through turn 13, the penultimate corner on the racetrack. DRS will then be enabled. Round the banking for the final time. Will it be Sneck or will it be Dutch Delight for Yuri as we come towards the line? Is it Sneck? Is it Yuri? Over the line. It's Sneck on pole by half a second ahead of the field. Yuri and Ttyb will start together in second and third. Adam Sanderson in fourth along with his teammate Fortis in fifth. Highwire in sixth. Mackie seventh. James in eighth. And then there's the two road in motorsports locking out the fifth row. RBK and Mindmaster on the sixth row. Beaksy and KT on the seventh row. Alel Spaceboy and Sheehan on the seventh row. No, sorry, in the eighth row. Sorry. Noel and Theo Goldenballer on the ninth row, and then the two disqualifications due to the track limits. Candy Floss and Solar Cindy, and Solar Cindy probably heartbroken that considering the pace they've got, but nonetheless it's Sneck on pole position, Carl, by half a second, and in Formula 2 that's monumental.
Wasn't even close. Absolutely decimated the competition. Sneck bottled the race win a few weeks ago, but he's looking to set that score straight. The Romanian sensation is on pole. Yuri in P2, Ttyb comes alive in qualifying and is in P3. But first state of affairs is we have that sprint race. It's all going to be roles reversed for that top set of the grid. And that's going to make things very interesting indeed. So I believe, if memory serves me correctly, Duty therefore takes de facto sprint pole with Tanidran. The Rodin cars are in a world of their own. And I do apologise to Cap it because Infinity did invalidate. And my consolations go out to you, my friend.
No, did he actually? Did you see where they invalidated?
I'm not sure where they did, but I'm guessing the DSQ meant that is an invalidation, which is less than ideal. But we're here for sprint. It's sprint day. It's sunny skies in Zandvoort. It's grainy, it's coarse. Nobody likes it, but we like this track. Sprint sensations await us. And, of course, everyone will start on the same tyres, so it is an all-out slug-out throughout this whole sprint.
Exactly, and due to the reverse top 10, your front row of the grid is a Road in Motorsport front row lockout. Sneck will be starting 10th. The two rivals for the titles, starting 8th and 9th. Adam Sanderson in 7th. Fortis in 6th. It's a P6 and P7 for MP. Then in P5, Highwire in the Dams. Mackie and James then on the second row. And obviously, if you're RVK, you're probably devastated that you haven't qualified one position higher, because instead of starting first for the sprint, you are starting in P11, as Solis Indy will round off the grid in the ART. And something I did notice there, the lap time from Yuri, who qualified second, was I think it was like 17.7. The fastest time we saw in practice was a 17.8.
And on the mediums as well. Cracking start.
Exactly.
There's a cracking start to the race weekend from Sneck. Make no mistake about that. But this is where it gets interesting. You throw in another element of caution for the drivers to try and do. They never want to do caution, but that's what RVK might actually be embracing. The fact that they do fight quite hard, potentially through the field. The fact that there might be damage on the cars. There might be chaos and conundrums. That's what he will be hoping for. As we see the Paddock Club, cars aren't even moving. Look at it. They're raving. Absolutely loving life up there. Imagine when they start moving.
Exactly. The fans will be absolutely delighted when the cars get going. And the question is, who will lead in the turn one, number one? My money's on the Road Motorsport car, at least, considering they have locked out the front row for the sprint race. Got 29 laps here, and the different point system here in T2IB. If you win the sprint, that's 25 points in the back. You could pick up 56 points today, including the feature race and the fastest lap, if you do get it as well. If you have a perfect weekend, that's plus 56 points, and that's monumental for any championship.
That's a lucrative day to be on the racetrack. This sprint is going to be rather class indeed. Hello to Jensen_33. Yes, TTYB is on. Capit's had a message redacted because he was quite harsh towards Infinity, and then it didn't redact the other message he sent, which I don't know if I'm at liberty to say. Something about exploding Infinity. But Infinity starts from the back of the grid. He was quick in the Formula 2 cars in Shanghai. Yes, qualifying hasn't gone his way, but if there's anyone that can make it up the grid, I feel like he's got a good shout tonight.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. It'll be interesting to see how drivers maneuver their way through the field. Obviously, 29 laps is still plenty of laps, even for a sprint race. And then, obviously, in the feature race, 40 laps, I believe it is, considering the fact that, obviously, feature races are a lot longer race. But Cole, I'll let you take it away for this sprint race.
Here we go. Road in front row. It's Duty on the right, Tanadran on the left, and we are away for the first race of the night. 29 laps of sprint. This is going to be immaculate, as immediately cars are trying to be on the move and in the groove. It's Chowdenby, who has channeled his way down the inside, makes his way past his championship rival, but they will fight tooth and nail. Yuri goes round the outside, almost takes to the grass, and is now fighting and fighting some more against Fortis. No dice there, and Chowdenby could retake the advantage as Sanderson and Sneck go into combat behind. Down towards Sky Black, side by side. Loads of conundrums could happen, but they're keeping it clean at the moment. Chowdenby goes through on Yuri, but they're still side by side on the two championship protagonists that could send a sour spell on the script. Not tonight, they won't. Chowdenby moves through to take P7, Yuri in 8th, and there's a bit of a moment in the back. Spaceboy, massive moment. Front wing damage, brake marker boards have gone absolutely exploding and reset the track for the VAR car, but it's Sheehan with the most meteoric start of them all, up to P12 already.
Absolutely flying is the Invicta cars. They make our way down towards the penultimate corner and the final corner of the track for the first time of 29 laps in this sprint race alone. We go down the main straight, and that move from Chowdenby to gain back that position on Yuri was absolutely critical. Adam dropping down from 7th down to 10th as we make our way down the main straight to start lap number 2. The two Ronins already starting to pull away as further back Beaksy and Noah going wheel to wheel, but then on the inside, Sneck's trying to make the move on Yuri, but Yuri will have the momentum on the outside line, but maybe Yuri's thinking of a move on the inside of his rival for the title. But as we make our way towards the bank corner, maybe Sneck as well looking for the move on the inside line as we go on the exit of the bank corner. As Spaceboy retired from this sprint race, we make our way down towards the end of the opening sector. Yuri trying to put the pressure on Chowdenby, but on this occasion nothing doing. Further up ahead, Fortis getting close to the rear of Highwire, but the MP Motorsport not being able to make any moves on the dams as we go in towards turn number 8. Make sure you don't run out wide as yellow flag still waving for the retired Alel. No more yellow flags no more. As we go through turn number 9 and towards turn number 10, the two Rodins are already checking out as Sneck once again looking close to the rear of Yuri, trying to set up the exit. Yuri runs in a little bit deep. Now we make the run down towards turn number 11. The rival, the contender for the World Championship, under pressure. You don't see many moves here, but Sneck's going to go for it. On the inside goes the Kramer. Into the gravel goes Yuri, looking for the outside line. It will then be the inside if we can keep it wheel to wheel towards turn 13. The penultimate corner on the racetrack. On the inside goes the Kramer to make the move, but then Yuri will try the up and under, but the Kramer car has got themselves up into 8th place and ahead of Yuri, and Sheldonby is also now getting close to the rear of Fortis. We make our way towards turn 1 as Mackie, and the lead is changing as well. Mackie up into 3rd, and then further up ahead, Highwire diving down on the inside of James through the opening corner. We then go towards turn number 2. They will remain wheel to wheel, but James will think better of it and back out, and Yuri down into 9th. Sneck up into 8th. Sheldonby remains in P7.
What racing, what rapture, and what a treble Titanic tussle we could have. Sheldonby, Sneck, and Yuri. We've already seen a prelude to what is to come between these three, and Sheldonby knows he's got to get a move on. Down the inside, he shows the nose on Fortis. Potential contact to be made, maybe just a light brush with the sideboard, but no harm done. It does mean Sneck has a chance though. He's showing the nose to the inside. Sheldonby knows he has to get a move on. Again, Fortis needs to space. It's respectful racing. Plenty of racing room left as Sheldonby tries to go round the outside, but that will endear the pink machine into the groove as Sheldonby gets it all crossed up on the exit. Some more potential contact and chops across to stop Sneck having a go into the right-hander. While all this is happening, both the roading cars are trying to check out as Nolla brings out a brief yellow flag. Both roading cars just trying to check out at the front of the field. But how long can they do it for? It seems almost impossible to do so when you've got the strength of the DRS and when you've got this bottleneck. And you know that so many faster drivers are waiting in the wings. Lap number 4 of the sprint. Sneck dives out of the slipstream, feints the nose to the inside. Again, can take the line so much tighter and with so much less compromise than the cars ahead. He's finding grip where grip just doesn't seem to exist. It's masterful.
Oh, no! Whoa, what a save! What a save! On the exit of turn number 3, monumental save by the Kramer, but that's allowed Yuri and Adam through, and now he's going to run wheel to wheel with Mindmaster as they go towards the downhill turn of turn number 7. On the inside goes Mindmaster, but then maybe the old switcheroo by Sneck, but he's going to have to stay tucked up behind. That was a monumental save on the exit of turn 3, just after you were saying he's going to find grip where grip doesn't exist. He went where grip doesn't exist for anyone, losing the car, dropping down into 11th place, but now the lead for the fight, the fight for the lead, sorry, Mackie is doing a monumental job, almost getting within that 1 second window as they go through the chicane. A little bit of a correction of the rear for Mackie, but I think the DRS between turn 10 and 11 is just going to mean that Mackie will have to stay without DRS for another lap as we go round the penultimate corner, then DRS enabled. We go around the final corner. The two race leaders as well going to get close. The road in motorsports could do battle as well as the fight for the podium. Highwire and Mackie to do battle. The two Rodins doing battle as well. On the inside goes Duty. The Rodins wheel to wheel further back as well as Tanny Dran keeps the lead. Highwire gets 3rd place ahead of Mackie as further back Mindmaster and Sneck running wheel to wheel. Mindmaster able to hold the position as we make our way towards turn number 3. Sneck once again. Will they make a mistake on the exit of turn 3 once again? We get on the power on this occasion, no, but gets a lovely run on the rundown towards turn number 4, 5, 6 and 7. On this occasion can't do anything, but James as well really close to the rear of Mackie through turn number 7, as also very close to the rear. Sheldonby right on the rear of Fortis. We go through turn number 8 before turn number 9, and Sheldonby's looking for the move to the inside. Fortis leaving the room as we go towards the outside for turn number 10. On this occasion, nothing doing there, but then the defensive line as yellow flags are out, and Theo Goldenball is into the wall.
Theo in the wall, big hit. That's front wing damage, and his Solar Cindy has managed to make his way through. Now we'll be getting onto the coattails of Sheehan, who is just waiting in the wings. Sneck not able to make the move, and Sheehan getting more and more used to the way the car handles and finding more and more pace to extract. It's just piling on the pressure that little bit more. The battle for the lead just got more spicy though, because Tanidran leads, Duty is in 2nd, and then Highwire now has the DRS. But Yuri is looking to make moves on Sheldonby. Chris had to make the move on Fortis up ahead. He hasn't, and now the pocket might just get picked round the outside. goes Yuri to try and challenge for the championship lead at attempt number 1. Chowdenby covers his back though with good diligent defense into Hugen Olsblog. Yuri piling on the pressure some more, but it's not going to happen. Sneck though is up to P10, Sheehan's up to P11, Mindmaster drops a couple of places, and now we watch the Pink Prince get back to work.
Yeah, as you were watching that battle, the Rodents went side by side through turn 2 and turn 3. There was contact between the rear right and the front wing between the two Rodents, but no damage there as we go through turn number 9. And once again, Chowdenby closing up to the rear of Forces. And my question is now, is maybe Chowdenby running more downforce, so through the middle sector, they can maybe then be this unorthodox move and make our way once again down towards turn number 11. You should see Fortis slightly pulling away there down in towards turn number 11. We go through the braking zone, hit the apex, then through turn number 12, but this is now a 12 car train. Make that a 13 car train if Solar Cindy can get within that DRS, which they have. 13 car train for the lead of the battle, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised, because in Formula 2 you can just follow oh so well as we plummet down the main straight to go on to lap number 7 of 29. Yellow flags out for Noel, who's on the full wet tyres as we go through turn number 1. Fortis is getting close as well to the rear through the opening corner, but Steck as well getting close to the rear of Alan Sanderson in the MP as we go down towards turn number 2. Further back, Theo Golden Baller and Candy Floss. Maybe Candy Floss was a mistake. Through the bank turn 3, once again, foot to the floor, on the throttle, accelerating, and Sneck's getting close once again to Adam Sanderson. We make our way through turn 5, and then towards turn number 6. Sneck pushing Adam, but through turn 6 is in towards the slight break zone of turn number 7. Sneck is to say tucked up behind Adam as we go in towards turn 8 and turn 9.
Massive wash of understeer. Sheehan's going to be endeared into this particular battle as well, as Mindmaster and Solar Cindy are coupled. That's Chowdenby, finally trying to make the move on Fortis. So many times he showed the nose, so many times he piled on the pressure. This time it pays off. Up to P6, he finally goes, but it was a long old slug out to get to that point, and Yuri is just able to follow through due to the compromise of momentum, so Chowdenby had to work so hard for it. Yuri, who's been waiting in the wings, just lets the psychological pressure get to the first MP Motorsports car, and he inherits a place as well. That's the domino effect that you've got to deal with. Again, the Rodin cars go into battle on lap number 8. Duty to the outside. He's going to be clear of Tanadran by the braking zone again. Leaves space, in fact, a wiggle as he just gets his braking slightly wrong. Sneck going through on Adam Sanderson. Sneck charging through against Adam Sanderson. Up to P9. Sheehan now all over the back of the MP Motorsport car. But like you said, Rio, I echo your sentiments. Just how close these Formula 2 cars can race. And it's brilliant. It's given us some blockbuster entertainment so far.
Without a shadow of doubt, who needs DRS? Who needs battery when you could just have pure racing alongside with the benefit of the DRS? But the two Rodin Motorsport cars, no team orders there. They are going completely. It's like each other a second to rest as we go through turn 9 and towards turn number 10. And Highwire seems to be the faster of the top 3 so far, but Chowdenby wanting to get a move on there. Look how close they are to the rear of the high-tech as we make our way towards turn 11. It seems to be that maybe James has got slightly less downforce, sorry, as they pulled away momentarily, but then the slipstream, because he was that much closer, kicked in as Highwire very close to the rear. Sorry, now it's Mackie close to the rear of Highwire as we go round the penultimate corner. We go down the main straight, 3-second time penalty for RVK. So Lucindy's still stuck at the back of this whole train. We go down the main straight, and the championship leader is looking to make amends, looking to make the move. It's High-Tech v Invicta towards the opening corner of the racetrack. The race leaders do his battle as well, as Chowdenby will look to roar right around the outside to make a champion's move, to get on the throttle towards turn 2. They will remain wheel to wheel. James will have to back out of it though, and Chowdenby will make the move. Yuri will now try to make the move, maybe trying the old cutback on the exit of turn 3. We go down the straight through 4, 5 and 6 before the slight corner of turn 7 behind Sneck and Fortis run wheel to wheel as yellow flags are out. I think that's what the lapped car maybe of Katie or someone getting out of the way as we go through turn number 7 towards turn 8. Adam Sanderson now looking for a move on Fortis towards the inside turn 8. You know, there. Deep goes Fortis though, in towards the corner, in towards turn number 9. Adam Sanderson has to stay tucked up behind. Chowdenby now, once again closing along. There's another car here, through turn 10, as we make our way down towards turn 11. Chowdenby now tucked up in the slipstream. Yellow flags are out, maybe that's for maybe Noel in the Trident. Their teammate out, and Noel stuck in 17th on the wet tyres, a minute behind Katie as we go through turn number 12 towards turn number 13. Surely, Carl, it's inevitable when Xiaomi makes this move on Mackie.
The championship leader on the move and in the groove. As we cross over to double digits in a matter of moments' time. Lap number 10 of the sprint race. A delightful Dutch spectacle as Tanidran has to try and defend from his teammate once again. But no dice. Tanidran keeps the lead. Highwire still in P3. Mackie in 4th. Chowdenby looking to take that away though. Sneck making scintillating progress once again, even with the half spin that he had. He's managing to cut his way back through the field, which is wonderful to see. Sheehan closing in on Adam Sanderson. But again, not the optimal exit out of Huguenot's block. He can't make it happen. Highwire closes in, shows the nose to the inside. But that's the compromise he's got to deal with. As soon as he does that, Yuri goes through on James, down the inside at the right-hander, uses the fast bank corner for part 1 of the operation, and lets Sneck get through at part 2. Super teamwork, albeit probably inadvertent. Sneck has to hold it round the outside. James is not done yet. In fact, a stout defence put up by the high-tech car, but made of sterner stuff is Sneck. Through he goes, shows the nose to the inside, does James, but it's not going to happen. Up 3 places apiece are Yuri and Sneck. The big winners. Chowdenby, I'd say, is one of them. He's dropped some time on this lap because he's got past Mackie for P4 on the road, and the podium places are only a stone's throw away.
It's the podium page on the away. So is the race win. It's so on for the Invicta Championship leader, looking to gain at least a minimum of 7 points more as the two roadies run wheel to wheel, rubbing tyres through the opening corner of the racetrack. This could open the door for Highwire, but I love this. It's further behind James and Sneck. And Sneck, oh no! Oh my word! Major contact on the exit of 1, and Sneck sent spinning around, and he pinballed into multiple cars as they went on the exit of 1, and he went at least into 3 or 4 cars there as RBK as well now gets ahead of Sneck. Sneck somehow, no front-wing damage, is further up Yuri, making the move on Mackie now as well, but Yuri's got to do some work to try and get back within that 1 second window, but I think that should be fine. But now here's the move, rounding outside at turn number 9. Before turn 10, sensational grip on the outside line. It's then the inside line for Chowdenby. Chowdenby, the championship leader, looking to make moves here. It'll be the momentum for Highwire as they make their way down towards turn number 11. As we go and hit the brakes just around now, they remain wheel to wheel. A little bit deep from Highwire though for Chowdenby. Very smart, backing out of it. But now let's put Yuri right on the rear of his rival for the title as we go through turn number 13 once again. And we're about to head into lap number 12. It's turning and dicing here in Zandvoort.
I'll tell you what, racing has been absolutely electric so far. One virtuosi car couldn't quite make it, one did. Sheehan's now up to P9. He's gained 7 places since the start of this race, as Nola brings out the obligatory yellow flag, but Fortis is not done yet. Late on the brakes as you like, it was Braven. Oh no! Contact made at the exit, and that will bring a bitter blow to what was a beautiful battle. 2 heavy hitters are hit on round at turn number 1. Sneck, one of them, who's now out of the race. Sheehan down to P13, but not too far off the chasing pack. There's still a chance for a point or 2, but what could have been? It means it releases Adam Sanderson up into P8. It means, yet again, Chowdenby and Yuri are given a reprieve. They can just keep on coasting on. And again, the battle for P3, I have to say, I highly admire Highwire's braking confidence. So confident and late on the brakes into the right-hander. We'll see if that materialises again as Chowdenby in the DRS, but it's all equalised. The 2 roading cars have it under lock and key at the moment. It's up to Chowdenby to make it through, but a dip into the gravel from Highwire. Could that be all of the wishy-washiness that Chowdenby needs to see as they head through the penultimate corner for the 12th time?
Tanidran had a moment on the exit. This could now open the door. Look how close Highwire is. Highwire's closer to Tanidran, and Tanidran is to duty as we plummet down the main straight. Still maybe a rival for the lead of this sprint race. On the inside goes the Papaya livery car. The Rodins do battle once again as Tanidran from half a second back moves into the lead as Chowdenby once again looking close as Mindmaster and Solar Cindy further back go wheel to wheel into turn number 2 on the inside, then the outside for Solar Cindy. Mindmaster though phenomenally holding the move, holding the position for P9 as Chowdenby once again just continuing to close up here. These 4 in the 2 cars, the top 5 are within a single second.
This is immaculate stuff as Ttyb, again, twisting and turning and dicing and darting from underneath the diffuser and giving it a quick peck for good measure. He wants this podium. He knows he can get this podium. We're not even halfway through the sprint race yet. And this is the action that we have in store for you all as we head through this DRS zone towards the right-hander, where Highwire defended so dutifully against Ttyb. Speaking of duty, will no doubt look to regain the lead from his teammate, but we have currently 8 cars all within a A4 piece of paper of one another, essentially. As Ttyb goes wide at the penultimate corner, Yuri will sniff blood in the water. All sort of equalizers at the banking, though. It's going to take something special into turn number 1 to make the move stick. You've got to be so brave on the brakes. Ttyb puts the car to the inside enough, deters Yuri from going for the position, as up ahead the Rodins once again swap around. And you have to feel like that's all they need to do to console those constructors' points to get the maximum out of this race. They've got to sort of DRS swap off one another. It's all calculated. There's an accident. James is into the wall. Contact potentially with Adam Sanderson, who's dropped off the train. But Adam seems completely fine. It might just have been a mistake for the high-tech driver. I'm looking to see damage. I think there is on the right-hand side. Yes, there is indeed. So yet more chaos raining down here at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Okay, yeah, on the exit. Well, I say on the exit, on the mid-corner of turn number 2, as Highwire is now looking for this move on the inside of turn 10. You don't see many there, but it's one you've got to try if you want to go tyre again. Oh no! Into the wall goes Ttyb and Highwire, and it was just tyre hooking. And you saw it so long before they careered into the wall. They were just slowly drifting over. But now, as they run wheel to wheel, Ttyb and Adam Sanderson running wheel to wheel. Ttyb basically got half a front wing. Adam Sanderson benefiting massively there. Highwire as well. Probably the not the victim. Well, I say Ttyb probably the victim in that. Highwire just seems to just had a bit of space to go on the left hand side. Into pit lane comes Highwire. Ttyb continue on with that half a front wing. And now it's opened the door majorly for the championship contenders as Highwire actually comes in and retires from the sprint race. It's now opened the door, Carl, for the 2 rivals for the title to take 1 and 2 here. And crucially, it's opened the door for Yuri to get his first ever home race, or his first ever home sprint race win.
I mean, first of all, commiserations to Highwire, who was driving such a good race, fighting for the podium places. Lady Luck's a cruel mistress, no different in the sport that never sleeps, and unfortunately, a brief lapse in racing craft has let down Highwire so horribly. Ttyb with the same kind of front wing damage. The left side is completely destroyed. And look at this. Cindy's up 12 places. So there's your big winner of the day as Noel brings out the, well, customary yellow flag as we see him out on the track. In fact, we don't because he's on the wet tyres and just going 1 mile an hour, which is absolutely fair. Does not want to interfere with the battle. DRS straight, though. And you have to feel like it is astonishingly academic. An A-class standard, DRS wide open. Could it be 1? Maybe. Do I race 2 cars to take the place for the lead of this race? Ttyb moves through to take the lead. Yuri moves through to take P2. And from 9th and 10th on the grid, 8th and 9th on the grid respectively, now are 1 and 2. And the championship duo can go head-to-head for the next 13 laps.
It'll be Ttyb, the driver from the United Kingdom, against Yuri, the driver from this country, from the Netherlands, looking to take sprint race home victory. They've won the last 3 feature races or Grand Prix. They've never won a sprint race here. Ttyb won the last sprint race we had here last season in Season 3. Looking to repeat history, looking to take their 2nd sprint win as we make our way through turn number 10. For the 16th time, we've just passed the halfway mark. And I'm completely loving it. If this is the sprint race, I can't wait to see what we see in the feature race when there's different strategies being played and we have 40 laps of it to come after this sprint race, and where you'll see Sneck start on pole and then it will be Yuri in 2nd, Ttyb in 3rd. So it will be a complete different story to be told in the feature race as we go down the main straight, and Ttyb maybe has pulled a big enough of a gap, but now the slipstream already kicked in, 1/10 already gained. Could the rival for the titles do battle in towards turn 1? The opening corner of the race right away, Ttyb, is he going to defend this? Yuri thinking of it, but not going for it. Front right lockup from Sheldon B as we go through turn 1 towards turn 2. Further back, Solar Cindy making the move on the wounded Tanidran in the Rodin. And because of that one collision, Rodin have gone from 1-2 to now 3rd and 8th. That was an impenetrable wall unless there was a tie hook like we saw. And Rodin will now might just start tunneling down the order.
Cindy's missing both end plates. I'm not entirely sure when that happened or whether I just wasn't concentrating when we last looked at his onboard. Both end plates now missing for the ART car. In fact, the driver in a really good position is actually Sheehan. Because he wasn't a million miles away anyway after the contact at turn 1. But now he's back. Fortis and Sheehan. Run it back, ladies and gentlemen, because it's part 2 of this absolutely disgusting duel, which ended so gruesomely last time, but it might actually end a bit more beautifully this time. As Cindy leads the train with front wing damage, Tanidran, and now Fortis and Sheehan couple on for what could potentially be a P7 once Solar Cindy's penalty is applied. Virtuosi in the lead. Virtuosi on the outside of the top 10, both in the points, both with contrasting fortunes, as Yuri is on the straight once again. Gap below 0.4 of a second, and it's going to be an absolute gazumping from the Campos car, and it will be Dutch delight and uproar from all in attendance as Yuri moves through. Challenby looks to keep his nose in, but resistance will be futile. The Dutch driver is going for his first sprint win, and that is part of the puzzle completed on lap 18. Yuri takes the lead in this sprint.
Yeah, and then Sheehan gets by Fortis on the exit at turn 1, leaving no room on the exit for Fortis, probably showing the cold shoulder to say that's what you get if you're going to try and spin They did spin him on the exit of the opening corner, but Xiaomi once again just seems to stick so well in this middle sector, and the roll for the titles. We are going to see so much dueling and dicing between these two. We've not only have we got 11 laps remaining here, including the feature race, we've got over 50 laps of racing still to commentate over as we make our way down towards turn number 11 once again. Hit the brakes just around the 100-meter board. Hit the apex nicely. Then in towards turn number 12. Don't want to use too much of that curve because you could slightly dip into the gravel as we make our way towards turn 13. In Formula 1, it's a slight lift. In Formula 2, it's a slight break. As we go around the final corner, DRS enabled, and the two royal for the titles. Prepared to do battle once more. Duty will get front row seats. We go down the main straight. DRS is enabled. Yuri will defend the inside line. Xiaomi will look around the outside, and the Invictus going to move to the lead, but Yuri will keep his nose down on the inside, and the top 2 in the championship side by side through 1 on the exit of 2 in towards turn 2, side by side, not no more. Shaolin be through into the lead. Yuri, the Dutch delight, will be halted down to second place as Solar Cindy retires.
Retires indeed. Was just losing too much pace with the end plate damage, which I'm surprised at because I thought points were still on the cards, but with another 3-second time penalty next to his name as well, there could only be one conclusion. A front 3 for the ages. Challenby, Yuri, and Duty. It's a great time to, well, it's a great time to rhyme, essentially. If you're the top 3, Mackie's in P4 as well. We're still rhyming, but he's got a very, very hungry shark of Adam Sanderson on his case in P5, and if these two keep battling the way that they are, there is still a chance that Adam Sanderson can prize on to the battle for the front 4, but that remains to be seen. What now has to happen is a mathematical game, essentially, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that they have to realise who's going to have the DRS, potentially going into the penultimate lap, so they can have track position on the final lap. Because that DRS zone, depending on how close you are, might just be too short. We'll see how Yuri gets on when he's in the slipstream. Towards the finish line we go. God, it would be close if that was the gap and Yuri was second on the final lap. But he is leading on clear at the moment. On lap number 20, the Campos driver retakes the lead. Adam Sanderson not able to prize 4th place off of Mackie at the moment, but there is still time for the MP Motorsports driver. Sheehan, though, his recovery has gone very well indeed. Looking to try and close the arrears to Mindmaster, 5.5 seconds back, but even so, from P16 on the grid, he's gained 9 places in this race, by far our most gaining driver outside of Yuri, who's gone up 8, but despite the spin, Sheehan hasn't thrown in the towel, he's gone back on the move and in the groove, and he's reaping some great rewards as a result.
Exactly. Adam Sanders slightly closing up as well. Moment for Mackie there on the exit of turn number 9. We go through turn number 10, and this is surely an eventuality for a move for the MP Motorsport drivers. We go down the back straight, down towards turn number 11, where you don't really see many moves here. Sheldon B as well. It seems to be what I've seen in this sprint race so far. Whoever the car behind sees a dirty air just gives you more pace because they're able to stick so well. It's normally, if you have clean air, you can fly away, but it doesn't seem to be the case in this Formula 2 sprint as we sprint down the main straight, as we head on to lap 21, and the two ride for the titles once again wheel to wheel, and it seems to be they're maybe somewhat working together in a sense, just trying to gap duty as further back. Adam Sanderson moves into 4th place ahead of the AIT of Mackie, but the two ride for the titles continuing to duel and dice, and on this occasion it's Sheldon B just flying on by with a plain sailing DRS move up into the lead of the Dutch sprint.
Easy move made. Yuri questing out for a first sprint race win at his home track. Cheltenham Beat trying to put the sword to that one. Lap number 21. It's 3 abreast for the lead. Cheltenham Beat, Yuri and Duty. Adam Sanderson stops the poetry at the front of the field because now he's in P4 and looking to try and catch up already. Gaining a 10th here and there. Clearly some good pace in the MP Motorsport driver. In fact, some marvellous momentum he's now gained, because it's so much easier to chase than be chased. That is the age-old story, but Sheldon B looking to try and escape. He gets to 0.6 of a second. You then have this DRS zone. It's short, but it's sweet, because it just puts the car behind in contention through this chicane. You've got to have a good run. Clatter over the first curb, avoid going over the second curb with as much gusto. It's then about these final two. Yuri, not as close as he would have hoped. 0.6 of a second is the gap. Duty's fallen back though, so these two can afford to go a little bit more hammer and tong. But this is the other big kicker. The deficit without the DRS. Yuri closing in. To the inside he goes. Brake late as you dare. Chowdenby tries to brake later. In fact, does do so extremely well. And Yuri doesn't have an answer on this occasion. But it does mean that he's got to rethink his strategy if he is to get that so sought after sprint race win at home.
Exactly. Yuri Aaron's trying to put the pressure on the championship leader. These two are split by 2 points as we headed into this sprint race. If it finished like this, with Sheldon being in first and Yuri in second, the gap would go up to 9. But if they finished in roles reverse order with Yuri winning, the gap would be 5 on that occasion in favour of Yuri Aaron. And something I've noticed, Adam Sanderson, last time he was at this section of racetrack on the previous lap, he's gained a second. Duty was probably just heavily relying on that DRS just to keep them with the pace as we go on the exit of turn number 10. The top two getting closer once again, but someone who is on a charge in the groove. The MP Motorsport driver, Adam Sanderson, trying to get a sprint podium after starting P7. Yellow flags are out. I think that's just for Noel once again. Still careering around on, I think, those wet compound tyres as we go around the final corner. We go down the main straight. Look how much closer Yuri is, Carl. Down the main straight, making our way towards turn number 1. And Yuri Aaron will probably just fly by on the inside. It's not even going to be a contest. Yuri Aaron, a new fastest lap in the sprint race on lap 22, heading on to 23. It's a 19.1 for Yuri Aaron. And Carl, we are already 1.6 seconds out of the Formula 2 that record as we run side by side through turn 2. Maybe going to try the old cutback through turn 3, sorry, to make our way through the flat turns of 4, 5, and 6. And the top two are side by side through turn 5 and turn 6 towards turn number 7. Who's going to back out of it? No one will. Right around the outside goes the championship leader to take the lead, but Yuri will keep it. Has to bail out of it. What a move by the Invicta driver, the championship leader, showing why they're at the top and retaking the lead of the Dutch sprint. But now, with the DRS, they will get once again down the main straight. Will it just be a rinse and repeat of maybe Yuri flying on by as we make our way down towards turn 11? Carl, what a move that was!
You run out of superlatives for a move like that. That was committed, it was confident by the championship leader. Even when he has that advantage, even when he has more pressure and more to lose from making an incident for himself this weekend, still he went for it anyway. Still it paid off in spades. Brilliant from Chaldenby. But again, Yuri's in that DRS. This is the mathematics they've got to play. There's DRS for the Campos driver, and needless to say, Yuri retakes the lead at the Dutch Grand Prix on lap number 24. Behind Adam Sanderson, closing in, but not close enough to Duty at the moment. I almost thought Yuri was slowing down a little bit on the previous lap. Doesn't look like it on this occasion. Chowdhury just had supreme confidence, but I thought he was trying to get the likes of Duty and Adam Sanderson back and reinvigorated in the lead fight.
Again.
Again, the outside line. Chaldenby's on his way again. I thought Yuri would have the pace in a straight line, but this time does defend diligently to stop the Virtuosi driver making the move. Again, the cutback was almost so supreme, but it's not going to happen. Chaldenby settles in for P2. Yuri can dictate the pace now that he's the car in front, as James and RVK are going into combat. Bouncing over the curbs at Hugen block goes the high-tech driver. There's been mixed chaos and conundrums between the entire grid, but a great little scrap for P9 on the road. As I'm watching that gap between Duty and the front two with interest, the answer is there is no quarter being given. The front two are in a realm of their own.
Exactly, as we make our way down towards the two final corners of the racetrack once again. Adam Sanderson, it's probably inevitable they get through into the podium positions, but this is the fight we're watching. The two rival for the titles. They are not giving each other an inch as we plummet down the main straight once again to head on to lap 25, and the top two are going wheel to wheel. Yuri giving the slight squeeze as they want to win their home sprint race, as rounding outside, Yuri will try to hold this right around the outside at turn 1, but then gets run out of road as we get on the exit. Adam Sanderson further back gets the move into the podium place as Yuri tried the confidence on the brakes and the grip on the outside, but as we applied the power, the road ran out and Chaldenby said, no thank you, you're not going to humiliate me like that, and Chaldenby keeps the lead of the sprint race. Adam Sanderson, could they try and maybe make something of the gap out in front? Yellow flags are out once again. It's Duty! It's a Duty, no it's not. It's Mackie, sorry. Mackie in the ART was a mistake. On the exit of turn number 3, they've lost position to Mindmaster and now Sheehan, who has gone from 16th now to 6th.
Didn't think he was going to get top 6, probably, if you'd asked him several laps ago in this race, but he has. Sheehan up to P6. What a result that is for the Virtuosi team. And what a result it could still be. But Yuri, well, you know he's looking for that sprint win. You know he's got his eyes laser focused in on only one outcome. He can visualize it so clearly, but he's the one that has to make it happen. Through the final corner once again. 0.4 of a second, that's the gap he needs to be in that DRS range again, looking to where the start-finish line is. And he has to be ahead. Well, when they cross the line to start lap number 29, that's when he needs to make the final move, or at least defend like a lion into turn number 1. That's the calculation he's got to make. If he can keep that track position, the race will be his. But Chaldenby seems to be able to overtake anywhere, and this cursed for Sneck, so I'm sorry in advance. But Chaldenby finding grip in spades everywhere he looks. And even if Yuri gets ahead, there is a good chance the championship leader will have a retort.
About when the next time we cross the line, there'll be 3 remaining. There's further back RBK and James ran wheel to wheel, but into the break zone of the opening corner of the racetrack. Nothing doing there as we go through turn 8 and towards turn number 9. Andrew Sanderson slowly starting to pull away from Duty, who got close towards turn number 1, but the DRS not that powerful as Tanidran loses another position. Is Tanidran still out? Tanidran still out with that half a front wing, now actually making the moves here in Zandvoort. I think Katie actually as well has similar damage, but back to the race leaders. Look how close they are. Look how close they can follow here, especially in Formula 2. They can just follow oh so well, like we've mentioned multiple times. But once again, as we go down the main straight as we head on to lap 27, and it's surely going to once again be a plain sailing move as we head towards turn 1, lap 27, 3 remaining. Challenby once again flies on by Yuri, but Yuri will continue to fight this on the outside line. They will remain side by side through 1, but as we make our way towards turn number 2, Yuri on this occasion can't do anything. And as it keeps going as it is, in the turn 1, Yuri will lead on lap 28, and then on lap 29, Challenby will take the lead. Perfect position right now for the championship leader to take home all 25 points in this sprint race. As further back, Tanidran and Katie are going to run wheel to wheel in towards turn number 11. Or contact between the rear. Deep goes the Red Bull liveries car as they run wheel to wheel through the 12th corner of the circuit and towards turn 13 they go. They remain wheel to wheel. On the inside goes Tanidran, around the outside goes Katie, and Katie can hold the position. And as we head onto the middle, sorry.
That's alright, lap number 27. Well, their lap number 27 they're heading on to. Tanidran with half a front wing, essentially, well, half a car, pretty much. Takes back what is P12 on the road. Nola again pits for another fresh set of tyres as Katie sails on wide. Yuri is waiting behind. Now, it's not over for him. If he waits behind, if he plays this patient, he will have the optimal advantage going into that final lap. 0.6 of a second behind. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. What he can't do is telegraph it too much. He can't exactly just lackadaisically wait behind. In fact, Chaldenby, I think, knows the game too well, because that looked very, very easy for Yuri to go through and retake the lead here at the Dutch Grand Prix. They both know what the score is, and duty's not done with Adam Sanderson. Still a podium place on the cards for the lone Rodin Motorsport car in the points. So 2 battles to really divulge here. Yuri and Chaldenby with mathematics to play at, and same for Adam Sanderson and Duty. I think Adam's got the pace to try and hold Duty behind. But these two, what a cat and mouse game this could be.
Exactly, and you think Challenby made it easy? No, he not. He didn't lift whatsoever. That was full throttle for the Invicta car. So maybe just the top speed just completely kicking in there for the Campos driver as we head through turn number 10 for the penultimate time in this sprint race. We're about to approach the final sector for the penultimate time. Hopefully, Noah Head doesn't give Yuri DRS, because that would completely ruin, as the top 2 are so close to side by side. Will we see DRS games from the home hero? The answer is no. The DRS detection was on the exit of the corner as we go round the penultimate corner. DRS now enabled. Yuri got a slightly decent exit. We plummet down the main straight. Racing speed for the final time. In towards turn number 1. Challenby is gaining. The championship leader's gaining. They're going to run side by side. Yuri's got the inside. They are well and truly side by side. Through the opening corner. Challenby running outside. Yuri on the inside. Side by side through 1. They make their way towards turn number 2. Yuri will try to keep it in, but Challenby to the outside line. And they're looking set to take successive sprint wins in Zandvoort as we make our way towards through 4, 5, 6, and towards the corner of turn number 7. Yuri is gaining, but on this occasion not close enough. But, Carl, there is still the drag race to the line to be had.
There absolutely is. It's not over until it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Both drivers at the front, Challenby and Yuri, both in a championship conquest. Nola goes into the gravel just to survey from the sandbox, and I don't blame him, because what a sensational spectacle these two have put on all the way through. Adam Sanderson looks home and dry for 3rd place, a credit to him. A decent recovery. It looked a bit nip and tuck at times, but he's made it happen. So have these two. But while they are unquestionably deserving, the query still remains. Who is going to take top honours? 0.4 of a second almost the gap. Yuri needs the optimal exit. We ride on board with the Campos car for the final time. Can Chaldenby take home the sprint win? Or will Yuri prize it away at the death? To the line, it's a drag race. But Chaldenby wins the first race of the night by less than 0.2 of a second. The mathematical games were played. It was calculated. It was cool. And it was cutthroat. From the championship leader, first blood goes to Chaldenby. Sanderson takes home the final podium place, and we can finally put to bed what has been a superb Formula 2 showing. Mackie's got a drag race, but she had to do. Into the wall goes Mackie, though. She had, I think, had a bit of a jink to the inside. It's so difficult to tell at that speed. Everything is accentuated. But Sheehan takes P6, Fortis in 7th, Mackie with no front wing in 8th. Beaksy and RVK cross the line to take home points in the sprint. And I think I speak for both of us when we say we need to lie down.
Exactly. But you've still got 40 laps for the feature race to go. Formula 2. I've just found that funny. I've just got to spectate Noel. It says he's on lap 26 for me.
Oh my god. What a man.
He has taken the flag, though, so he's finished the race.
Exactly.
And so there is another drag race. Katie and Telly drive to the line. And I didn't see what the cap was there. It was probably a couple hundred of a second. But what a sprint race that was. It wasn't Dutch Delight, but surely for the feature race, there is the higher chance, considering the fact that Yuri is starting on the front row for his home race in the Formula 2 feature race. As the podium, there it is, stacking it on the podium. Chaldenby goes in the Invicta, and then it's Yuri in second, and Adam Sanderson, the two Brits on the podium, along with another Dutch driver. The trophy for the sprint race will be raised high and proud. But Carl, we still have a feature race to go, and there's almost double the length to go.
Absolutely right. Champagne flows, and while he might have stacked it on the podium, safe hands for the championship leader, all the safe hands of Edwin van der Sar as the celebrations flow on. Absolutely immaculate sprint race, and this is what it looks like. Chaldenby in P1, Yuri takes home P2, but crucially fastest lap. Adam Sarnason in third with Duty in fourth. Mindmaster in fifth. Sheehan sixth place with Fortis in seventh place. That confused me because Sneck got 2 points for pole position. But it's Mackie that was in P8. Beaksy in ninth. And RVK takes home the final point in this sprint race. Well, we will quickly head on over to our wonderful faces. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as you can see, Rio is wearing the Ferrari shirt, rooting for Yuri. It's always better to root for the underdog. But you can't really call Yuri an underdog. We saw it there. Both of Chowdenby and Yuri on such equal footing in this championship game here at round number 8. And we've still got that feature race to go. And they both line next to each other as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, there will definitely a challenge will be mounted in towards the opening corner. And like I said, like I've got in the handy dandy notes here, Yuri has won every single Grand Prix and / or feature race that has been held here in TTYB. So the Dutch crowd must love him, considering he has never been defeated in the long race format. So obviously, starting on the front row, prime position. And we know Sneck has the issues with consistency. So there's all the while where, I mean, we saw it in the sprint race twice, really. Having the spin on the exit at turn 1 and turn 3, there's always the chance that he can have the mistake. But if he just finds a bit of consistency, Carl, there can always be the chance for the win. And for his first win of the season, it's surely inevitable.
May the odds be ever in your favour in this hungry game of racing, Mr. Yuri Arens. But he says the battles with Chowdenby are so good, and that's the other thing to highlight. Just how clean a lot of the racing is, but that's exemplary from our championship duo. That's exactly how you should go racing. There was always space left. There was never a lack of compromise given by any of the drivers. It was just great racing, and that's exactly what we want to see in this league racing series.
It was phenomenal. Just, I mean, Formula 2, it never disappoints. Real life sim racing, it is never disappointed whatsoever. Just, it's phenomenal how phenomenally well you can close. I mean, obviously, there's none of this ERS management. If you've got more batteries, you're gonna fly on by. It's pure racing with obviously the handicap of the DRS. It's just pure racing, and they're just going at it consistently, and it's amazing to watch.
It really is, and we've got even more of it to come, especially because in tyre talk, Chowdenby is on the softs versus the likes of Sneck and Yuri that are on the medium tyres. Now, here's the thing. If Sneck gets a great start in this race, we've seen how monstrous his pace is. I feel like if he can keep the lead and keep his head, he will just waltz away. But equally, he will have the pressure of Yuri and Chowdenby. If they can keep close, like you said, we know he can make mistakes. So, will we finally see a new main race winner outside of Chowdenby and Yuri? Look, I'm trying my best, lads, but look, listen, one of you's got to do it as well. But equally, a credit to the championship charge that they put on so far.
Without a doubt, and I'm gonna answer your question. I'll ask you a question first. Who's gonna win?
Oof, tough question. Well, based on the sprint race, I think there's only 2 names you can really put forwards, but I will wager Sneck, because I think if he can just keep his head and get a good start and keep the lead of this race, there is every chance he can do this. We've seen how quick his pace is. He can absolutely do this, but he just needs to keep his head on the level track. Rio, who do you think is going to win?
There's a reason why I'm wearing the Ferrari shirt. I actually put the Ferrari. I actually put the Ferrari shirt on because I was thinking, you know what? It'll be Yuri's day. He will win his 4th consecutive Grand Prix / feature race here in Zandvoort. But I don't think Chowdenby will win. I think it'll either be Yuri or I will put Solus Indy in the mix, because when he finds this consistency in Formula 2, anything's possible with him. He's a world-class driver in Formula 2.
Not wrong there. Starting from right at the back of the grid, though. Again, just to, visualise how this grid is looking, as Chowdenby has gone back onto the medium tyres. A couple of drivers going for softs. Mackie, James and Duty on the outside of the top 10. But Cindy right at the back of the pecking order. No real surprise that he and also Sheehan have gone for the soft compound tyres. It's such an interesting pendulum swing in Formula 2 between the alternate strategy. But the main thing is, this is TTYB. There may well be safety cars on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you keep in tune with the action. Fasten your seatbelts. It's Sneck on the right. It's Yuri on the left. Will it be Dutch Delight? Will it be a Romanian rampage? It's lights out and away we go for the feature race. And it is crucially a good start for Sneck. He makes turn number 1 in the lead. That's the 2 championship protagonists go head to head once again. Round the outside goes Chowdenby. Through goes Chowdenby. The championship leader and sprint race winner takes a position already off of his championship crusader. And now the charge for Sneck can begin. Sanderson ahead of Fortis, both MP Motorsport cars making light work up to P4 and 5. Katie with a decent start up to P11. We'll see how the soft tyres can go to the wall of their own. There's tagging duty, and into the infield he goes, plummeting down the positions. But it's Sneck at the moment in the lead, round the outside. More contact being made. A big machine of RVK's gone through into the wall. It's chaos behind, but it's all calm at the moment. Sneck, Chowdenby, Yuri are your top three, with Adam Sanderson and Fortis not far behind. But the MP Motorsports cars could be going into combat as Fortis gets close, but not close enough.
Yeah, one thing I've already noticed, Infinity Candy Floss up 8 positions on the race start. So Cindy up 3, Sheehan up 4, No up 5, My Master up 2, then obviously the big one, the 2 rival for the titles, change positions as we plummet down the main straight. And you saw that Shallenby had opted for the soft tyres on the race director. He has actually reverted back to the medium tyre, going for the expected strategy here, but Highwire and James getting close, as look how close to the rear the blue livery car goes, as now maybe Highwire will look for the move, running outside of Fortis. It will then be the outside for turn 3 if they can make it stick, but out in front that gap is almost 1 second, and we saw, if you remember back to qualifying, the gap was half a second, let alone in what it could be in race trim if there's just a couple consistent laps. As we make our way out towards turn 7, Highwire once again getting close to the rear of Fortis through turn 7 as we make our way towards turn number 8. It's surely an eventuality before the dams get ahead of the MP, but the MP is currently holding formation in 4th and 5th. Adam Sanderson slowly getting close to the rear of Yuri Ahrens, who will be looking for Dutch Delight. Further behind, Tanny Dran into the gravel, goes on the cars, and side by side they run through turn number 10. A little bit of a wiggle for Sheehan as we get on the power. Candy Floss that was in the gravel as we make our way down towards turn number 11. And look how close Candy Floss is getting to the rear of Sheehan. Under braking for turn 11. On this again, not close enough. Further behind, Duty, and no! Oh no, spun around! The Trident car spun around, Reef gets the car straightened up, and now as we get on the power, no, luckily, I don't think there's any damage from the Trident car, but back to the lead fight, down the main straight, fastest lap for Shalby, no, fastest lap for Yuri, as we make our way through turn 1, in this occasion, the top 6, all staying as they were, as they're further behind, positions changing everywhere, Solar Cindy up into 12th from last now, what a start.
Sheehan also up to P11. Infinity now up into the top 10 already. What a charge. What a scorching start it's been for the lead Trident driver in this race. Did not materialise in the sprint, but he's making light work in a fabulous feature performance so far. Chowdenby closing in on Sneck. That's not what Sneck needed in the context of his race. Not that there's battery saving to be done or anything like that. It is just pure pace and rubber to burn, of which Chowdenby is melting through his Pirelli tyres, but it's paying off very handsomely. A clear top 4 then. Sneck, Chowdenby, Yuri and Adam Sanderson. As you can see from a glorious helicopter shot. Sneck at the right-hand side of your picture. Chowdenby at the centre. Yuri at the bottom left of screen as you see it on the broadcast. As we head through the left hand of the stadium complex, for the home fans who will no doubt be rallying on Yuri's every single action. But there could be a swap for the lead. Through the penultimate corner, DRS for Chowdenby, and he really is closing in now.
Down the main straight we go. Shalby with the DRS. We plummet down the main straight. Heading onto lap 4 of 40 here. On the inside, Shalby goes. And I don't think it'll be a contest. As Shalby on the inside. And the championship leader now into the lead of the feature races. Adam Sanderson sets the fastest lap of the feature race. He's flying in the opening stages. And maybe putting pressure on the man second in the World Championship and the home race hero, as they are maybe struggling for a little bit of pace compared to Shalby in the opening stages. But Carl, how long do you reckon they have to go on this medium tyre before they can switch to the soft? We know the softs can die out here, but in Formula 2, to be honest, I have no idea about the tyre wear.
I have no idea either, but if we saw them do about 29 laps, it's round the outside, goes Highwire again, contact at Scheiblack. It's terrible, terrible news. You are incinerated on the inside line, and the score is the same for Fortis, but he does remain in P6 and with no damage, crucially. Meanwhile, Sheehan and Infinity squabbles aren't yet gone. It's Solar Cindy versus Infinity. Again, there is rhyme and reason. More front wing damage for Cindy, though, I think, on the right-hand side. Still got great pace because he is on those soft compound tyres. I would be tempted to say that, actually, about lap 26, 27, is probably when we'll get off those mediums. That is me hazarding a big guess, by the way. But like you say, we know the soft tyres do absolutely eviscerate themselves in terms of durability. So, Cindy will make good work at the moment, but he's going to have to pay, well, he's going to have to meet his maker when the time comes. As on to lap number 5, there you go. Ttyb retains the lead of this race from Sneg. Yuri and Adam Sanderson not far behind at all. It is going to be a very fantastic 4 in constant squabble for the lead. Ttyb looking to get close. Sanderson got even closer for a second, trying to go around the outside. Contact made. Front wing damage for Ttyb, who now has the inside line for the bank left-hander. Gets through into P7, but he can ill afford that because Sheehan is on the prowl.
Yeah, contact on the exit. Oh, that's on the mid corner of turn number 3. Something was caught my eye then, turn number 1. Whilst you were watching that battle, Sneg got close to the rear of Ttyb. Is further behind. Sheehan making the move on James. Running outside of turn 8. You don't see many moves there. Sheehan up 8 positions already in this feature race. What I was going to say, Sneg did a major lift in the turn number 1. So I'm just thinking, has maybe Sneg underfield as Theo Goldenwaller getting done around the outside? No, doing a similar move we just saw Sheehan make as we go down towards turn 13. Once again, the DRS will be enabled in 100 meters time. DRS now, you hear the beat, the button clicks. Down the main straight we go. And is this going to be a change of lead? A Sneg in the slipstream will be gaining the whole time. Gaining. But on this occasion, will he be close enough? Will he go for it? No, once again, you just see the lift from Sneg. Not wanting to make the move. Maybe he has underfield here. Just wanting to ensure. Use the DRS from Ttyb as further behind. Sheehan running wheel to wheel. And this wheel banging between the pair of them through turn 1. And the damage of Ttyb sent him into Sheehan as we run side by side through turn 2. But on this occasion, Sheehan has to bail out of it and stay behind Ttyb, and that was a tad rude from the Road and Motorsport car, who was one of your former sprint race leaders, but on this occasion they're in the depths of the mid-pack.
Oh, got Grizzly. Theo the Golden Baller moves on through, past Nolla, who is making a little trip to the reserve escape road, which is absolutely fine. I too have used the escape road many times, but he's carrying on his merry way. That's the crucial thing. Sheehan couldn't get it done on Ttyb. He's going to have to get it done soon, though, because those soft tyres will lose their advantage pretty quickly. Front wing intact or not. Shows the nose to the inside. Brave and bold from Sheehan. And he was behind at the detection point. Has the DRS. A drag race now towards the chicane. But will he opt to remain behind? No. Late on the brakes. Round the outside. Oh, no. And then sent into a half spin. It's going to invite James through. On the inside. Ttyb caught up on the curbs. There's a whole conglomeration of cars. This could get very messy here, Rio. As round the outside goes Sheehan. Much cleaner state of affairs. Does get through Ttyb, the unfortunate soul that didn't have DRS, and he's going to be swallowed up. Mackie is there. Cindy is there. As side by side they run for P9 on the road. Through goes Mackie. Infinity getting interested in. Contact made more. It's contact upon contact. The domino effect in place. Duty almost caught up in the crossfire. Cindy out of all of that has moved through into P10. I'm going to get a hernia commentating like this for too long. Sheehan could now get P7, but it's not Ttyb he has to face. It's James in the high-tech.
Absolute chaos in the opening corner. Someone went really deep before the brake just careered into the rear right tyre, and that caused 2 cars to spin. Duty did phenomenally to avoid that. It could have been a mass pile-up as Noel becomes our first retiree of the feature race here on lap 7. It would have been lap 6 for them as Noel has left the session, and that is their day done. But what I've been impressed with so far, Adam Sanderson has been able to stick to these leaders so well. It's been between 2 to 5 tenths of a second as we plummet down the main straight once again. DRS enabled for Ttyb and the championship leader who beat their rival for the title in the sprint race, looking to do rinse and repeat in the feature race, looking to become the first man, not named Yuri Aarons, to win the Grand Prix as feature races on the inside. He wants to get into the optimal position to be first on the road. They run side by side. It will be the momentum though for Sneg on the outside. They will then run side by side through 2, but Ttyb thinking on the championship, thinking smart and bailing out a bit further behind. Ttyb and James running wheel to wheel, and the wounded Rondon rules right around the outside of James, and so Cindy will want to maybe get involved here, maybe think of a dive bomb move to the inside of 3. It doesn't tend to work out well. Further behind, Candy Floss and Mindmaster run wheel to wheel on the exit of turn 3. A little bit of lag there, I think, on my end, and side by side they're going to go into turn number 5 onto the grass, and Candy Floss sent sliding and spinning around but caught the car.
That's an unbelievable save. Fair play to Infinity. It's so easy to spoon it off into the wall. But there's no damage, just emotional. Lap number 8 then, a fifth of the way through this race already. Chowdenby again, closing in as much as he can. But it's round number 8 of this season. We're closing in on Twilight at a rapid rate of knots. It comes around sooner than you think. And you do have to slightly think about the championship. If you just finish one position ahead, it is still an advantage that you hold. It's a dent in the mental fortitude of your rival. And Chowdenby is going to try and put a car between himself and Yuri once again. In fact, it looks academic. Sneck moves to the inside, darts that line in, but Chowdenby unfazed. Brave on the brakes, through into the lead he goes once again on lap number 9 of this race. Of course, being TTYB, we are anticipating potential safety cars that would save royally the bacon of the likes of Sheehan and Cindy, who currently reside in P7 and P9 in this race, as Katie is into the pit lane for a scheduled pit stop. That is, in fact, unscheduled because there was no front wing. That is less than ideal, but soft tyres going on the car and plenty of pace to burn. A Williams liveried car I just saw going through there. It was indeed, it was BC. That is disastrous news. Chowdenby leads, then Sneck in second, and I can only assume that Nolla retired from the session because he ran out of wet tyres.
The wet tyres are the optimal tyre, it seems, for these conditions, at least on the north side of the garage, as we make our way down towards turn number 11. And Yuri still lapping within 3/10 of their current lap time as they approach the end of the sector. Maybe Adam just pushed a bit early in the opening stages of the of this race, because they do currently have the fastest lap by 90, I think it's like 94 milliseconds, I think, or 96, around that, as we go down the main straight once again, and Sneck once again will look to retake this lead. How easy will it be? Not even going to be a contest in straight line speed, but the braking zone will be a different matter, and before they even get to the braking zone, Sneck rolls on by into the lead of the feature race. Yuri Aarons now. This is the closest they've been to Chowdenby for some time as they go through turn 2. Oh, Sneck with a slide of the rear through turn 2, entry of turn 3. That one didn't do the rear tyres good, but on this occasion, Sneck able to hold the eventuality of a spin. On this occasion, though, can they do it for the remainder of the race?
That is the age-old question. Still only a quarter of the way through this race. It feels like I've gone 25 rounds of this track already. And we already did in the sprint race, to be fair, so it's not completely inappropriate. But bouncing over the curbs goes Yuri Aarons. Again, Adam Sanderson just lingering in the background, waiting in the wings. He knows there's an opportunity. He's got the pace to extract an opportunity. He's just waiting for the opportune moment, and he's still got 30 laps to extrapolate that advantage. Behind, Sheehan's managed to get away from Tanidran. He's got Solar Cindy for company, though. On those soft compound tyres, you have to feel like they are starting to hurt. Both on equal front wing damage, so relatively level footing in terms of the cars they have underneath them. As they head into the chicane, no move to be made, but DRS to be had on the succeeding straight. As we see again, Chowdenby getting close, but he's further behind. He's going to lift off, play it sensible. Just by this time, Sneck takes the fastest lap of the race, a 1:19.7. And in contrast to F1, where the tyres do just sink like a brick once you reach the 20% cliff, in F2 you do have a little bit more of that margin to play with, particularly with the harder compound, as Cindy goes down the inside. On the soft tyres, a bit of wheel scrubbing to boot, but Rubbin's racing, ladies and gentlemen, and Solar Cindy makes his way through to P8.
Oh my god, they were 3 wide through turn 1 behind between the likes of James, Gandhi and Mackie, I think they were. But on this occasion, James comes out in front. And what I was just thinking there, I was thinking maybe could you do the 2-stop, but obviously you lose way too much time in the pit stop. But so, the Cindy once again running wheels with Tanidran as on the inside at turn number 7. Both cars wounded, both front right end plates gone on both of the cars as they run wheel to wheel through turn 7, then turn 8. Tanidran, they're going to keep this side by side in towards turn number 9. Running outside goes Tanidran on the inside. It was Solar City. Then they'll have the outside line. Tanidran and Rodin going wheel to wheel with the ART. Right around the outside goes Solar Cindy. Now they plummet down the straight towards turn number 11. Still remaining side by side in towards the braking zone. Turning from Tanidran. Almost contact between the pair of them. But on this occasion, Tanidran was a lovely duel as further up ahead. Yuri getting close to his role for the title. Yuri thinking of the move. But on this occasion, not doing anything. Further back to the battle for for P8. Solar Cindy has got the DRS, has got the slipstream. We go down the main straight. He's going to pull out to the inside, and Solar Cindy is just going to roar on by, but into the fade, into duty he goes, looking for the double move, but not even going to might not even make one move. They go side by side through turn 1, was looking at the double, won't even make a single.
Oh no, Mindmaster with a 10-second time penalty. And Cindy losing the position because the rear tyre's just giving out. The exit corner differential, in fact more so the mid to exit corner differential and the behaviour of the car not complying whatsoever. And it could all come down to that massive wing gap he is running. Yes, he'll extract the pace of the tyres very early doors. He likes a car that's on the nose. He can extract how sharp the car feels. But that then comes back to bite you when the tyres do wear. You have to have such a nuanced feel of how the rear end is going to behave. And Cindy, the tyres are absolutely finished. We know the medium can make it happen. But Sneck's had a moment. There it is. There's the script in full flow. Chowtherby moves through to take the lead in this race. Yuri in P2, and surely Adam Sanderson can make a move up into the podium places. Yes, like I said, by this time, the opportune moment is there. Bit of a squeeze into the entry phase, but Sanderson sails on through into the final podium place. And now the top 3 can really get to work. Devastation for Sneck, delight for the top trio.
On my end, I just completely cut seconds further behind. So there's Cindy running wheel to wheel with Tanidran, and now Juicy will want to get involved as well. That's 2 Rodin. Juicy's probably a bit frustrated here to be stuck behind these 2 with damage. If you were Tanidran, do you just let Duty on by just for the team orders, just for the sake of the constructor, to give Duty that chance to try and charge up the field? But it seems like these 2 have quite a decent pace. Back to what happened to Sneck, just on the exit at turn 12, just completely lost the rear on the exit. They must have got stuck on the exit curb, which you'll see here as we approach this yellow flag. I think that's what Spaceboy just letting them through. You'll see here as we watch it at Shannonby through turn number 11. If you look to the right hand side on the exit at turn 12, that curb, I cut to Sneck being stuck on there on the grass, and then just completely spin across to the other side of the circuit, hitting the wall on the left hand side for the drivers. On our POV, it would have been the right hand side from the cinematic shot. But now it's battle resume between the 2 championship leaders. We go down the main straight, and Yuri Aaron for the first time is staring at feature race lead. And what we've said so much in Zandvoort, it's the lead of the race for Yuri Aarons, and it's Dutch Delight now on lap 14. Yuri Aarons leads ahead of Shannonby. Adam Sanderson in 3rd, being put under pressure from Sneck. The top 2 change, set 3rd and 4th stay as they were.
Do you know, I've seen this one before, I swear. It's a classic. Yuri and Chowtherby duking and dicing it out for P1 on the road. However, they can't cast all their chips and all their luck in one fly of the dice, because Adam Sanderson and Sneck are waiting patiently and in the wings. Less patiently if your name's Sneck, because he's absolutely ruining the mistake he made and still getting close and personal with the curb, something that Adam Sanderson is not doing. He knows how much risk there is on those gigantic outside curbs. You cannot play chicken with them, as Sneck has found out to his detriment. And on lap number 14, this is the situation. Yuri leads, Chowtherby in 2nd, Adam Sanderson in 3rd, and Sneck relegated to 4th place, the pole sitter, the man with surpluses of pace at his disposal, now in complete turmoil in the context of this race. What looked to be a surefire race lead can still be recovered, but it's a mountain to climb for the pink machine. Chowtherby versus Yuri. That's the question. What is the answer? Yuri seems to have the advantage, and Chowtherby wisely waits behind. Lap number 15. We cross over to Cindy, not going to have it all his own way. Despite front wing damage, the medium tyres clearly in a realm of their own. Tanidran is going to have a marvellous opportunity.
Exactly, as we pull it down the main straight, and Tanidran will just fly on by, but also Cindy, who actually just comes into pit lane further behind Sneck, once again getting close to the rear of Adam Sanderson as we make our way towards the end of the opening sector and in towards turn number 7. Look how close Chowtherby is. It's the exact same as the sprint, as almost speaks to the curve went the championship leader. And if it was to finish like this, Chowtherby would still lead the championship, but that gap would go from what is now, I believe, 9 points, would go down back to 4 points, because obviously P1 in the Grand Prix feature race gets 30, P2 gets 25, and on this occasion it would be obviously Yuri Aarons would once again be clawing back pace. But it just shows how ruthless they are as championship rivals. They're not giving each other a break. They are just tooth and nail, consistently dueling for top spots or whatever the maximum place is that they can get. We saw it in the middle of last week where Sheldon B just didn't have the pace to properly challenge. He was there or thereabouts before Sheehan had their spin as we go down the main straight, and the two roll for the titles, preparing to do battle once again. Round the outside goes Shalnaby, Sneck behind, getting close as well, looking for a move out of Sanderson, but for the lead, side by side, Shalnaby, outside line, towards turn 2, the top two are side by side, they remain side by side, through the opening corner, almost contact between the front left and the rear right, but on this occasion, the championship leader, once again prevailing, and once again, coming out ahead of Yuri Ahrens, further behind, the two Rodins do battle as well, and on the inside duty goes to get ahead of the wounded Tanidran, but the damage, Carl, doesn't really seem to hampering him, as side by side almost ahead between Sneck and Adam Sanderson. The gap was 68 milliseconds entering turn 7. On the exit of turn 7, it's 2.5 tenths as we get close towards turn number 9 and turn number 10. Adam Sanderson now looking close to make a move on Yuri Ahrens. Look how close they can get through turn 9 and through turn 10. Stand on the power on the exit of 10. Make our way down towards turn 11. But Cole, Adam Sanderson seeming to show some lovely pace right now.
The momentum just changes hands corner to corner. You think one driver's got an opportunity, then it falls to the driver behind, then the driver ahead makes the mistake. Adam Sanderson blazing up the rear tyres out of the left-hander. 2 corners to go again. Will keep that gap and keep the DRS and extends it by 1/10 of a second to Sneck behind. 4 clear favourites and 4 clear superstars here in Zandvoort, but these dusty jewels are not done yet as Yuri moves back through to the lead of his home race. Chowderby in P2, Sneck goes egregiously wide behind. Adam Sanderson again looking to find the advantage, won't find it at the moment. Highwire, who has brilliantly extended his soft tyres, as has Sheehan, all the way to the end of lap number 16. Finally they bail out, and it will be medium tyres all the way to the end. But the reason why these 4 are in a class of their own, they had nearly 10 seconds to Highwire, who is in P5. So these 4 just streaking on clear and giving us a masterclass in both racecraft and race pace.
About Shadow that they are showing what it takes to be a front runner. The two Rodings once again were side by side, and Tanidran just top speed on that Rodin just seems outstanding. Maybe it might have been a mistake from Juicy considering the 4/10 gap, but it actually might have been a mistake. We make our way towards 10-11 once again with the race leaders here. And it's just the top 2, obviously the top 4 are showing what it takes to be a front runner. The top 2 are showing what it takes to be a world champion, showing what it takes to be a rival for the title, showing the ruthless consistency, and it's just the confidence you need, and just in general the raw speed you need as we plummet down the main straight. And once again, Sheldon B to the inside line, and once again to the lead. Unless Yuri can hang it right around the outside, it will then be the inside for 2. The outside for 2. If they can make it almost contact on the curb when Yuri Ahrens running in a little bit deep, but on this occasion, the championship leader back into the lead of the feature race. And like I was saying, they're just showing what it takes to be a champion. As look how close Sneck is to the rear of Adam Sanderson. 84 milliseconds as we go through 6 towards turn 7. He's going to look for the move on the inside, but Adam Sanderson just completely shutting the door. And Adam Sanderson, the British driver in the MP, keeping 3rd position behind Yuri and Shalnaby.
Sanderson saying, "You might be brave, my friend, but I am braver. I will shut you out if I need to." Sanderson doing everything he needs to do. Again, has so much pace. Up to this left-hander, gets so close into the DRS. The dirty air then kicks in, and that just slows the charge and curtails it a tiny bit. As Sheehan and Cindy doing battle for P10 on the road at the moment. Back to the front we go, though. One virtuosi to another. Chowdenby leads. Yuri in P2. Again, the front 4 so condensed and compressed. They're going to nearly be a pit stop ahead of the rest of the field at this rate. We'll see them peel off those medium tyres. I wager lap 24, 25. They want to try and get that extension as much as possible to ensure they have the tyres. Yuri wants that race lead. Shows the nose to the inside. He's going to have his pocket picked by Adam Sanderson. He too will have his pocket picked by Sneck. It's the art of pickpocketing and thievery. There's contact made with the diffuser. Sanderson so close. Yuri not getting the optimal exit. Sneck surely not going to go all the way round the outside, but it will be a drag race towards Skyflag. What a battle this is for the final podium place. Sneck on the inside line, and it's an incredible move for Sneck in the Bremer car. Dicing and dueling momentum, compromising, and Sneck picks up his just rewards.
What a phenomenal duel. It was a move coming, I feel, due to how close Sneck was able to follow Adam Sanderson through the opening sector. He finally got the move done. And oh, what a move it was. Once again, we see Sneck lose the rear end as Adam Sanderson can now put Sneck under more pressure as we make our way towards turn number 11. It towards turn 1, by the way. The reason you saw Yuri start a bit, there was actually contact between the front and the rear of the two rival for the titles as we see Sneck once again with a snap of oversteer as we make our way through turn 13. Back to the championship leaders though, once again preparing for the new battle. The gap half a second that we've seen so much in the sprint race and in the feature race now. That half a second doesn't mean anything by the time they make it towards turn number 1, but on this occasion it might have actually meant something as the DRS properly kicks in towards turn number 1. On this occasion nothing will do between the top two in the feature race. And based on what we've seen, we saw how long the likes of Sheehan went 16 laps on the softs. Maybe the pit windows are going to open within the next 4 laps for these medium runners. Obviously, the top 8 yet to pit. Sorry, the top 8 and as well as Theo Golden Baller all yet to pit in this feature race. But surely it will be a matter of time before we see a raft of pit stops. And how long will it take to warm up those soft tyres?
A massive audible lift-off on broadcast from Yuri as he made it into turn number 1. No real threat behind, so no real reason to go for the move on Sheldon B either. We're at the fulcrum point of this race, from one virtuosi to another. Sheehan and Cindy doing battle, and Sheehan blazes on through with the helping hand of DRS. The big news up at the front is Sneck is getting close. Yuri with a mistake out of the left-hander. Sneck's going to go on through. After all the conundrums he faced earlier on, he's back up into P2. And Sneck separating the championship contenders. The Prema driver having a perler out there. Now he's the one to throw the challenge to Chaldenby, who of course won't mind whatsoever. There's less points gap to be nibbled into between that P2 and P3 complex. Exactly what he needs. But Sneck's just gonna charge on through 2 places in a handful of corners. And the pole sitter retakes the provisional race win.
That was phenomenal. You just saw how quick he was in that final sector. Purple final sector for Sneck on that last lap as we have just crossed the halfway mark on lap 21 now of 40. We make our way now to turn 7 and Sheldon well, now that move that Sneck's made, it's put the two rivals and titles right back with each other, with Yuri Aarons now having to make 2 overtakes to get into the lead. I didn't actually see the mistake that happened, but you said it's a mistake. That's unorthodox from Yuri. We saw the consistency in Imola, and we saw the consistency throughout the course of the sprint race, obviously coming short. I think it was just around 2-3 tenths of a second, but a rare mistake from the Ferrari driver when we race in Formula 1 cars, and the man chasing down championship glory. That's not going to do their title aspirations good in terms of trying to not only win the title, but let alone their home race.
Quite right. Trying to keep up what is a superlative statistic as well. Winning every single feature race / F1 Grand Prix that has ever been done in TTYB at the Dutch Grand Prix. There is still plenty of time for that statistic to still reign on true, but both high-techs are going into combat. Beaksy versus James. Look at this. And the Williams livery driver moves through. Go Williams. That is immaculate. Chaldenby looks to try and go on through. In fact, I assume lifted up because Sneck had covered the inside line. Yuri was no threat behind, so Chaldenby is obviously not going to be deterred from keeping P2. Yuri, though, he's going to have to deter him from getting his mitts on P2, as through the Huguenots block they go for the 22nd time. The lead 4 have been inseparable so far this race. And MP Motorsport, can I just add, are currently P4 and 5. Adam Sanderson in 4th, Fortis in 5th place. A great Constructors' Hall potentially heading their way, but we are getting ever closer to that potential period of pit stops as Cindy takes the fastest lap at 1:19.397, and that's with front wing damage, and we know that is going to be absolutely obliterated by a potential 4 cars at the front of the race.
Right, a shadow of a doubt, obviously. Sneck, I mean, at the end of the middle of the sector, I was just looking at the time, it's about 81 milliseconds away from their personal best. There's still pace in these tyres. It's just a question of who will blink first of the top 4. And obviously, you've got to take into account the traffic that you might come out into. If you're Sneck, do you wait for someone else to pit to ensure you have the fresher tyres? But what I have been witnessing with Sneck, he's so aggressive on the rear. You just see it snaking around so much as Sheldon once again getting close into turn 1, but once again we'll have to stay tucked up behind the pink liveried Prema as we go towards turn number 2 and turn number 3 once again. The top 4 stay as they were. And it just seems to be that they're going to stay lying stone for a little while now until the pit stop brigades, when they all eventually come in for the soft tyres, because they can't do the full race. They can't do the full race on this medium compound tyre. They probably could if they wanted to, if they managed it well, but obviously the regulations say otherwise.
Do a Sebastian Vettel in 2010 in Italy, where he went basically the whole race, pit on the last lap. Alex Albon then repeated the feat at Australia, picked up a point from it as again another fastest lap for Solar Cindy, a 1:19.362, and his battle with Sheehan nowhere near over, but the quest for the lead for many drivers also nowhere near over. Sneck leads Chowdenby, leads Yuri, leads Adam Sanderson, who have been gorilla glued to each other from the word go. Through the right-hander for the 23rd time out of 40, and it is the Pink Panther leading the line. But, again, lap number 24, end of that lap, expect one of these lead quartet to peel into the pit lane. Adam Sanderson might be that driver. He's nearly outside of a second, as Highwire makes it through against Infinity. Reason being is there's been a trip into the sandbox, and there it is, right on cue. Enter stage right Adam Sanderson, who does not want to play games with the pit lane speed limit, and into the box he goes. Soft compound tyres will go on. They should relatively easily make it to the end of the race because the cars are lighter, there's less energy being put through them. There goes MP Motorsport teammate Fortis into P4. Cindy picks up a time penalty for corner cutting shenanigans, but out of the pit lane comes Adam Sanderson, and crucially onto a extremely clear track. So now it's up to the leading trio to react within a moment.
Without a shadow of a doubt, and they will easily make the difference, because if you can turn your attention down to P17, RVK's done 20 laps on the soft tyres. They've done half race distance on it, which is monumental, and you can tell they want to reply Sneck with the personal best within the opening sector of the racetrack. If you're Yuri, if Sheldon doesn't pit and you're Yuri, because Yuri's almost fallen out of that 1 second window now, surely we will witness Yuri come into pit lane just to avoid the risk. Adam Sanderson, like you mentioned, with a lot of clean air. There was a moment on the exit costing Yuri a 10th and a half, and surely the man second in the World Championship will peel into pit lane. What about Sneck? What about Shallenby? Into pit lane comes Sneck. Into pit lane comes Shallenby. Into the... Oh no! Yuri will continue on. They want the fresh rubber. So, now the question is, where does Adam Sanderson come out in comparison to the others? It's a purple middle sector, Carl, for Adam Sanderson in his outlap.
Yeah, soft tyres ignite into life instantaneously. And like a bull in a china shop, Adam Sanderson is going to come crashing on through for the potential provisional lead already. A purple middle sector. Still a little bit of tyre warm-up he had to deal with, so Sneck and Chowlenby will get on ahead. It's up to Sanderson to use the warmer rubber, but look at this. My goodness me. Using the undercut has not paid off at all. Sneck and Chowdenby gaining time on Adam Sanderson. Over 2 seconds the gap is now. That will come down just a little bit as the lap goes on. But look at that, the Prema driver and the Virtuosi driver doing everything they need to do to keep the provisional lead in second place. Yuri, though, calling their bluff, going for the fresher rubber. That's the other strategy you can play to have the tyres at the end, to have all-out attack at your disposal. So through the stadium section he goes, leading the race. The crowd going through a Guinness World Record level of decibels. Through the final 2 corners he goes, and no doubt what will be appealing into the pit lane at the end of lap number 25 for the championship chaser. Sneck looking to break a second away from Chowdenby. He is immensely close to doing so. Yes. I don't think he's quite. Yes, he is going to do it. By thousandths of a second, Sneck will do it as Yuri peels in for the fresh rubber. And now it really is game on.
Without a shadow of a doubt, we plummet down the main straight. The thing that MP Motorsport have got here, Fortis is still on track, and they're going to catch him at an inconvenient part of the circuit. Adam Sanderson will undercut Yuri Aarons only just though. So I can only imagine, as Adam sets the fast lap, I can only imagine it was a mistake on the outlap, because we saw a purple middle sector, but now how quickly can Sneck dispatch of Fortis. Decently well tractioned on the exit of turn 3 for Fortis as we make our way towards turn 7. Will Sneck go with ambition? Will they go brave? Will they go bold? Oh! Almost contact, almost spinning the car around, but look how much now. Sneck's going to get held up through turn 8. Can't go for it there. Surely a move into turn 9, but maybe too far back into turn 9. Once again, a stay tucked up behind. And this is going to allow Adam Sanderson to get back involved. Yeah, there's a lap car ahead, and this is phenomenal. Team orders here as for the MP Motorsport cars as they will run wheel to wheel on the exit, roaring right around the outside to make the move. Lovely move by the pole sitter to get up into the net race lead as Fortis now runs on in deep, and it's now Sheldonby's turn, and I think now Sneck might have actually just picked up some DRS from the lapped car. And to make our way around turn 13, no, not on this occasion, but now Fortis, can they re-challenge in the turn number 1? We go down the main straight. Once again, I think Fortis will now peel into pit lane, which they will. Surely could have been a challenge here, but now Sheldonby has the chance to fight for this race lead once again as Adam Sanson, once again, another fastest lap, as further behind Yuri Aaron slowly started to catch as well, as there is a lapped car in between Adam and Yuri. That lapped car should peel out of the way soon. I am curious to see what that is. I think that is Beaksy indeed, as we go through the back corner on the exit of turn number 3 before the flat complex of turn 4, 5 and 6 before the slight corner of turn 7. The battle for the lead did die down momentarily, but once again, Carl, it's now game on once again at the front of the field.
Well, Sneck will be disgruntled, no doubt whatsoever. Felt like the move was on. Whether Fortis moved too much into the entry phase of the corner, we can't quite see from a broadcast point of view. In the heat of the moment, it always feels different when you're a driver, but it is part of the game regardless. Sneck now with Sheldonby breathing down his neck or darting around his diffuser, which is worthy of an HR meeting. But the point is, Sheldonby is well within range to cause mayhem in the context for the lead of the race. Sneck thought he'd absolutely run away with it. Sarnason's losing time hand over fist in comparison. Yuri, a hair's breadth away from DRS, I think does just about get it. So game on for P3 with the fresher rubber. But it comes down to these two on the same age rubber to potentially work together. A yellow flag though, as one of the cars, I think that's Space Boy, yes it is Space Boy, who goes just into the infield. The VAR car not having a great time at all. As fastest lap of 1:18.0, the lead of the race. How much more return on investment can you get in this Dutch Grand Prix? The answer is, well, Cindy's out of the race. My goodness me, Cindy out of the race. The whole track goes to a caution. It's a virtual safety car. Cindy's binned it at the final corner. You can see it on the mini-map. The ART car quickly disappears from view, but that will neutralise proceedings. I'm trying to see if there was a full safety car. The answer is I don't think so, because Sheehan, rather deceptively for a moment, made me think that it was going to get very tasty indeed. But no, virtual safety car, pace neutralised, and it means some saving of the soft compound tyres, for particularly the front 3 in the race.
I exactly thought the exact. I thought Sheehan was the safety car coming out of the pit lane, but I mean, it's game on now between everyone. Duty, by the way, what a stint. 27 laps. And it's paid off. You see it a lot in real life in Formula 2. I can't remember who it was. I think it was like 2024 in Monaco, where they gambled staying out and now they get the chance to pit. But, oh no! Never mind. I completely forgot it wasn't a full course safety car. It's a virtual safety car, sorry. High wire speeding under the VSC. Who else picked it up there? I have no idea. Space Boy as well. Compounding the misery here, but once again, we'll plummet down the main straight. And once again, we're going to see a change in lead. Not only for the lead, we're going to see a change in position for 3rd place. And Yuri Aarons, the man chasing championship glory, will take 3rd place. And I apologise, I completely thought it was a safety car.
Rapid restarts, absolutely fine. Rapid restarts, though, from both Sneck and Yuri on lap number 29. More yellow flag shenanigans as Solar Cindy gradually plummets down the order and will eventually completely plummet by the wayside. I think there was a yellow flag for Mackie, but he's well on his way. Lead changes hands again. The pole sitter has it in his clutches to try and stop the monopoly of Sheldonby and Yuri. Trust me, I did my best. But we need someone else to take the mantle, and Sneck, with a purple Sector 1, is doing just that at the moment. But watch with interest the gap between these two and P3. Yuri on the fresher rubber. How much pace does he have at his disposal? He's gaining just a little bit here and there at the moment. Sanderson just clinging on for dear life to that DRS. He's going to lose it in a matter of moments if he's not careful. But now we see the real pendulum effect begin. Sheldonby will have that DRS as we head on to lap number 30, and the final quarter of the race can begin. He's close enough, Sheldonby is, with that DRS to retake the lead, no doubt about that. Yuri's dropped Adam Sanderson. That means he has no pressure from behind. It's up to him now to burn the rubber and put the pace on. Sheldonby, at the last moment, jinks it to the inside. Now runs side by side, but only for a fleeting moment, because that man, the championship leader, has one hand on P1 again.
Once again, Sheldonby just seems to be in a league of their own on the main straight, at least at just top speed. The championship leader should completely fine by lap traffic once again, peeling out of the way as Snack well, I'm sure that will once again mount a challenge in towards the opening corner. But now, Yuri with the fresher rubber has to make amends here, has to make a charge to try and make it 4 successive home race wins in a row here, as further behind Candy Floss and Tannydrum run wheel to wheel. Tannydrum still running with that front wing damage. Something I'm still amazed about. Duty still out on those medium tyres. Probably just hoping once again for a safety car. And what I just remembered here, in Formula 2, you can't pit under virtual safety cars. So he was kind of forced to stay out there, and the hand is still, he's the only driver yet to pit in this Grand Prix, and someone who I'm now also devastated for, Solar Cindy. I mean, they were showing great pace from last, but now they are basically back to where they started, and once they will not be able to finish the race. Once again, we run down the main straight, though, and Shaolan will be put under pressure by Snek, as in towards turn 1 we go. Snek will just opt to sit behind him in towards turn number 1. On this occasion, they stay line astern, as from behind Adam Sanderson getting close to the rear of Yuri Aarons. But once again, the top 4 will stay as they were. When does Duty come in? Still continuing on. That is 30 laps now done on that medium compound tyre. 3/4 of the race done. What a stint this is, Carl.
Duty the Tyre Whisperer. It's a notorious nickname he's picked up over time, but he's certainly putting that to very good use here today. 31 laps. He's now approaching on his medium tyres. Absolutely ridiculous stint from the road-in driver. He has to pit eventually, no doubt about that. But when he does, he's going to be monstrously quick. Speaking of monstrously quick, we turn our attention back to the front two. Chowdenbeat and Snek. Now, there was a race where these two also were basically tooth and nail between each other, within each other's DRS. I will dare to put my neck on the line and say Texas, but don't quote me on that. Rio was actually there for that race. The point is, though, that these two, again, inseparable in terms of pace, where Snek had time penalties attached to his name. It might have been Brazil as well, actually. I can't remember specifically. The point is, these two, again, glued to each other, and they now need to play the mathematical calculations. Snek retakes the lead as we click over to lap number 32. 4/5 of the race done and dusted. And our pole sitter, the Prema driver, still has P1 in their clutches. But it all comes down to that calculation. Chowdenbeat did it so well last time, and you bet your bottom dollar he's going to do it again here.
Yeah, it was actually, I will confirm your fact. It was Sao Paulo where they were with each other for at least 40 laps or so. As on the inside goes Highwire on the aging Duty. So say 31 laps now done on the tide. Do you reckon that you're going to go all the distance and then probably pit on the final lap? Like you mentioned, the likes of Sebastian Vettel and Alexander Albon have done. Alexander Albon, a former race winner in this particular category of racing in Formula 2. Let's make our way through turn 9 and turn number 10, and Shaolanby will stay tucked up on the rear of Snek as we put the foot to the floor once again, going down the back straight, down towards turn number 12, and obviously they will stay line astern, and they will just make sure that wheels will actually happen at turn 1. That seems to be the only place we're seeing this current moment in time, but you know Snek will be brave and go for a move at turn 7 further back. Mackie and Beaksy went wheel to wheel momentarily on the rundown on the exit at 10 before turn 11, and they stay as they were, but we go down the main straight once again, and Shaolanby is gaining once again, and I think it's just going to be once again another plain sailing DRS move. But look at the straight line speed that Snek has got. It's barely been affected, but as the DRS and the top speed properly kicks in to the lead of the Dutch feature race, goes Shaolanby, and the Invicta once again into the lead.
Very well done from Chowdenbeat. Knows what the score is, knows what he needs to do, but if he keeps up this calculation, here's the thing. He's gone on to the lead on lap number 33. At the moment, as it stands, the calculation actually favours Snek. So there's every chance we get a race winner that isn't called Chowdenbeat Yuri. Or Carl, I guess, but I only won one race. These lot have won 3 races apiece when it comes to the main event. As we have a yellow flag, though, at the exit of the Huguenots block. It's Mackie who's the wrong way, and it's very, very touch and go. Extremely dangerous potential rejoin on the cards. Luckily, absolutely everyone has avoided him, which is great news. The racing can flow on. That was almost a plane crash that ensued between himself, and I'm trying to figure out who it would have been that potentially clattered into him. It might well have been either Sheehan or Fortis, but no harm, no foul. He carries on his merry way, has no front wing, or at least a lack of front wing to boot. Again, the front two go into combat. Yuri just closing in by a couple of temps on this last lap, at least in the context to Sneck in P2. So doing what he needs to do, but look how powerful the DRS is. He loses 2 tenths in a heartbeat. Sneck nowhere near making the move into turn number 1. Yuri is hurting without having that DRS advantage, that straight line surplus. You can tell it's hindering his progress. He's got decent pace on the newer rubber, but Sneck and Ttyb, they're romping on clear.
But I doubt, and it just seems the DRS is just way too powerful for Yuri to do anything. Obviously, finally into pit lane, 33 laps done. Can we give him an extra like 20 points? That's a phenomenal stint. What a set! We should have given him a point for every extra lap he did in that set of tyres.
Absolutely. Soft compound tyres for Duty, who really has performed his duty extremely well. And out into 10th place he will go. Katie just making their way around the final corner. Duty out of the pit lane. And now we turn our attention again to the race lead, because it's absolutely ridiculous. By the way, credit where credit is due to Infinity as well. We haven't highlighted his race very much, as again, another yellow flag. Is Mackie again. Absolutely hates the Hugenholzplat corner. And a much less contentious rejoin, much less front wing than he started from before. And there's your virtual safety car. Once again, this time Ttyb and Sheehan nowhere near the pit exit to make it a question of whether Burnt Mylander makes an appearance. It is that virtual safety car again, though. We saw a couple of drivers caught out by the Delta. That could happen again here, so all eyes turn to the front 4.
Without a doubt, obviously, virtual safety car. I mean, as we are both sim racers, we probably dealt with a lot of speeding under the virtual safety car. Obviously, it's not the nicest feeling when it does happen. Into pit lane comes James. I didn't think he was allowed to pit on the virtual safety cars in Formula 2, but, well, I guess the game hasn't got the rules implemented. But anyway, when will we see foot to the floor once again? Just looking at the steering wheel, there's a lot of Delta saved up on Sneck's Prema car. We are on lap 35. Next time we cross the line, there'll be 5 to go. And it's just making sure that you don't speed on this occasion, as Adam Sanson is getting close to the rear of Yuri Ahrens under this virtual safety car. We just await the green flag to be waved, awaiting that front wing to be cleared up of Mackie, who hit the wall through, trying to spin the car back around. And there is your drive-through penalties. Candy Floss is the latest one to pick up a drive-through penalty. Currently running in 8th place, a phenomenal recovery at what it has been for Candy Floss. Up 11 places. That's going to cost them, I think, maybe 9th and 10th, but if they can make the moves, if Candy Floss can find the pace, surely a chance to get back up into 8th after the drive-through penalty is served. But once again, back to the late race leaders. We make our way round the penultimate corner. DRS then ticks on and enabled. We run around the final corner. Look how close Sneck is to the rear of Ttyb. We plummet down the main straight, and it's not even a contest. On to lap 36 of 40. 5 remaining here, Carl, and it's Sneck in the lead from Ttyb. Yuri Ahrens getting half.
Pole sitter versus championship leader, ladies and gentlemen. Yuri gained half a second on the restart. I was anticipating that he was going to try and go for a slingshot. Whether it would have materialised, I didn't know, but now we see the result of it. Nearly within 2 seconds of the leading duo. Sneck, Ttyb, then Yuri, looking to try and keep that statistic flowing in his favour. Adam Sarnason on the brink of DRS, as Cindy does leave the session eventually. But my commiserations to Infinity, who has got the real Capit to deal with. Because he's just gone in capital letters like a madman, and suddenly we have another virtual safety car. Don't quite know the reason why. Into the pit lane goes Infinity. Surely can't serve the drive-through. So that's devastating news for Infinity Candy Floss. And yes, the pit crew have gone out. Maybe it was him. I'm eyeing up whether there was a front wing that's been brought out, and the answer is yes. Infinity with a front wing that's disappeared. So he brings it out, and there is the retirement from the session. What was a rapturous recovery has just been completely nullified. Devastating news for Infinity, and the wrath of Capit is about to be felt, I feel.
Well, I would love to see what happened to Candy Floss. It's so sudden as well. They were running really well, up 11 positions from where they started this feature race. But once again, we have the dilemma: will the top 4 keep it clean? I think if Adam gets a drive-through, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think he will still keep P4. Nonetheless, as there go down, it's a very quick one, and all the drivers keep it clean on this occasion as we go through turn 1 once again. And Sneck, by the way, has got a this is the biggest gap we've seen in a while. 8 tenths of a second it is. Well, as we make our way through turn 2 and through turn 3, Sneck keeps making a minor front left lock up there through turn 3, which you don't really see many lockups there, as our race leaders are the only two, as Sheehan has left the session, disconnecting. Well, I was going to say, the top two are the only two within DRS of each other, but how much longer could that be? Sneck's going to pick up some DRS maybe, unless the car gets out of the way, which they do very nicely indeed. Yellow flags around, that's for the lap car, obviously letting them through. And how close will it be? Will there be DRS for Sheldon B? The answer is yes. It must have been by a couple thousandths of a second as we plummet down the back straight, down towards turn number 11. There is DRS, but the question is, will he get DRS down the main straight, or will Sneck finally get that gap? 1.1 seconds. Carl, the DRS gap has been broken by Sneck.
He's finally done it. We could finally see a fourth name etched into the history books. Sheehan's disconnection means that Fortis easily moves through for P6 on the road. Great race by Fortis by all accounts as well. Excellent drive from himself. But the DRS gap broken. I didn't see Chaldenby's rear wing open up on the short straight. Maybe it's just my game playing tricks. But I don't think he got DRS on both occasions. And Sneck has a big chance here. 3 tours to go off the Zandvoort circuit. The Prema driver, the pole position prince, in the pink machine. What an opportunity it is. Gap to 1.2 seconds. And now the equalisation can begin. Weapon holstered the entire time. Sneck had it under lock and key. He just needed to blitz on clear, and he has done so. But now comes his own worst enemy, and that's himself. He has to keep it clean. He has to keep his mind on the straight and narrow for the next 2.5 laps. Gap at 1.3 seconds. The ball is in his court.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's just keep it consistent. You've got the gap. There is a yellow flag out somewhere again. That is for Mackie with once again yet another spin. A torrential final quarter of this race for the ART driver. The bottom 4 teams, the bottom 4 drivers, 2 ARTs, 2 Tridents. Both Trident, it's a double again for the Trident, suboptimal some would say, as we run round the penultimate corner and then run the final corner for the 38th time as we're about to head on to the penultimate lap of this race. No one within the area to each other. It could just be a nice and easy rest. As I say that, yellow flags are out once again, and James, oh my word, almost stuck on the curve. 2 cars almost careering into him there, spun through the mid part of turn 7 before turn 8, and James in the high-tech spun around and has lost positions to Theo Golden Baller now, as well as the yellow flags are out once again. That's further up ahead as well. Might have been for Tanidran in the Road and Motorsport car duty as well. Surely we'll get a chance maybe on Tanidran as we we are on the penultimate lap of this race with your race leaders, but it seems to be it's going to be Sneck's day. But we saw in Mexico City on the final lap, anything can still happen in the final remaining couple of laps. I say final couple of laps. We have 1 lap and a sector and a half to go.
And it usually does. A chance to add a fabulous 4th. A famous 4th name. A fantastic 4th, if you will, in what has been a cinematic spectacle from start to finish. A low-key drive from many accounts from a lot of drivers, but only one was burdened with such glorious purpose. And it belongs to the pink machine. 1 final tour to go in this race for Sneck. Round the penultimate corner he goes. It won't be Yuri, it looks like, to take home and keep that statistic alive of winning every single feature race to win the full account of points when that main event has come about. Sneck with a 1:18.8, Chaldenby with a 1:19.2. He's gaining nearly half a second per lap. So through the first corner he goes for what will no doubt be an exemplary lap. But I've called it so many times in Sneck's camp. I've called it where he's driven such a great race, where he's gone and found grip almost instinctively, when no other driver has been able to find it. I cursed him multiple times in the sprint race. However, that hex has been well and truly lifted off his shoulders through Sky Black for the final time. Let the aerodynamics do the work. And then through the next right-hander. Don't bounce it over the curb on the inside. Nay, don't get it crossed up on the exit. I thought he'd done just that for a moment. Did manage to collect it though. Only a couple of attempts is the deficit that he loses. And finally, he's been chomping at the bit for a race win. But in a few corners' time, Sneck will put right the many wrongs he has found in the quest for victory. Through the stadium section, the crowd at its feet, every single viewer of the TTYB show falls in favour to round the chorus of applause. Let it reach fever pitch, because Sneck rounds the final corner, and finally in Season 4, he's done it! Sneck wins the feature race, in Season 4 to open up his account for the Pink Prince, the pole position master in his Dutch delight. But only one can take it. Snek takes home his first win of the season. And it's euphoria. No doubt euphoria can start to set in. The Romanian rampage is complete. What a drive it has been. And boy, Rio, did he have to work for it.
Had to work well indeed. Got the gap in the end after the virtual safety car, and like you said, it was just a time coming. Finally, in Season 4, we can sketch his name into the history books as a TTYB race winner in this season. And what a way to do it! Going head to head with the rival for the titles. The sprint race was heartbreak, spinning around, colliding with many cars like a ping pong ball. But on the sprint race, in the feature race, he was able to control it. Had the mistake in the opening stint, but was able to regroup, make the moves after a mistake from Yuri, who's opened the chance to retake the feature race lead. They took it, and they didn't look back since. Snek finally gets a race win in Season 4. Shaolin, even though it's not the win, will still be happy. They pull points on his rival for the title. 5 points gained for Shaolin. That gap, which began at 2 points after the sprint race, it went up to 9. The gap now between the top 2 in the World Championship is now 14.
Shaolin, what a drive. What a weekend. Did everything he needed to do. Bested his championship rival by 1 place, not just once. It was so nice. He had to do it twice, but it's only one driver that is perfectly primed and in place, and it's the Prema man. Snek is finally on the top step of the podium. No bottles this time, as much as we love to adorn that league name on some certain drivers. Not this time. The champagne can flow, the celebrations can start. What a drive. Exemplary from our front four. The awards go as such. Duty with cleanest driver, most overtakes, and driver of the day. Fastest lap to Chowdenby. Another point goes his way. But it's Snek in P1.
What a race weekend that was. So, in terms of points for Chowdenby, 25 in the sprint, and then another 25 in the feature. 50 points Shaolin will be taking. Yuri will be taking 20 in the feature, and then 18 in the sprint. That'll be 38 points for them. It's a major swing in the championship in favour of Shaolin once again. But it's finally Snek who has finally done it. After all the unfortunate events, after all the bottles we saw in Mexico, after all the misfortune we saw like in Texas with the puncture, it's finally done. And Carl raises the bottle to say congratulations to Snek.
We throttled, we bottled many times. Even I needed the bottle. It is a sweaty set of affairs. Rio's got his as well. Katie says she's sweating. God damn it. You have put us through the ringer tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. Oh, it's a commendable effort from all of you, but equally, why have you done this to us? Literally, my hair, I used to have an afro before this broadcast, and now it's flat. This is what you did to me. But what a drive. What a drive from Snek, ultimately. Had that minor mistake in the middle, that put him what looked to be out of contention for the lead. But unlike other races, he never gave up. He kept his head on the straight and narrow. He had psychological positivity. And that's why he's found himself in this position. It's a well-deserved race win today.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, Shaolin, Yuri, and Adam as well. They gave it their all. I'm still curious to see what happened to Adam with his undercut attempt. Because he set a purple middle sector. It must have been a mistake in the first sector, unless he changed his front wing, but obviously he wouldn't have been that close if he did. I'm just curious to see what would have happened, but nonetheless, you can't take anything away from Snek. Since when he really took the lead, it was just a masterclass, tussling and dicing with Shaolin, the championship leader. Who, I mean, he can still be happy. He got P2 in the feature, and then obviously won the sprint race. He's inevitably gained in the championship and in the constructors as well. He should be delighted with that.
Absolutely right. Should indeed be delighted. It's yet again the McLaren team, quote unquote, in this case Virtuosi, that gained more, as if they needed more of an advantage. They've gained more of it. Chowdenby, though, that was crucial, I think, particularly after Imola, where it looked like his back was a bit against the wall, where he didn't really have the pace. Sort of in the end, not to say lucked himself into a P2 finish, but ultimately, you've got to be in that position. You've got to create your own luck sometimes. But that's why he's in that championship lead. He's remained so consistent. It's weekends like this, though, that we're reminded that he is that championship leader, because he does extract the most out of every single opportunity.
Exactly. I mean, Yuri as well was proved. They both exactly proved why they're rivals for the title. They've proven why they are so consistent. They prove why they've got 6 wins combined between them, not including sprint races, of course, because to be honest, I don't actually know the stats for the sprint races. I think Yuri, I think it actually might be 8 wins if you include sprint races, because Yuri won the sprint in China, I believe, and then Sheldon won it today. It's obviously the Dutch crowd will be a bit upset that there's no win, but at least they saw their boy on the podium twice.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. I'm eyeing up to see if there are any interviews in the works. The answer is yes. We do have one person that I definitely want to talk to. Space Boy's asking, do you know what, Space Boy? We might save an interview for you. We'll get through 3. Like Rio, you said, Rio, though, it'd be interesting to see what happened with the undercut, because you thought surefire that Adam Sanderson was going to do exactly what Sneck and Chowdenby did. Gain 2 seconds with the undercut, stay in the lead of the race, put himself in that conversation. But it just didn't happen that way. So it'd be interesting to get some light on that one. I'm just checking for the context of Space Boy's interview, and indeed it was correct. We'll deal with that in a moment. But who I do want to drag in, ladies and gentlemen, for their first race win of season number 4. Round of applause. Sneck, you've done it. Well done. Incredible race from yourself. And I think it was an example of never giving up, particularly when you had that mistake in the midway, but your first race win of the season. How does that feel?
Oh my days. I don't think I have won since my championship decider, by the way.
It's been a long
That was
long
2 seasons
time.
ago.
It's a long time coming, but you made it happen in the Formula 2 cars as well. I don't know if it's your first Formula 2 race win. Definitely this
No,
season
it's
it was.
not.
It's not. Good. Well, you're back on the top step in Formula 2. You're back on the top step, full stop, and that's what we love to see. Great battle with you and Chowdenby. You managed to get the gap at the end. Just talk us through the battles with Chowdenby. How did you find them?
They were pretty, okay. We weren't really fighting. We were just managing the gap behind because we were worried about Yuri for a second there.
Of course.
It would have started more towards the end, but the VSCs kind of drifted us apart.
No, quite right. Quite right there. And just to take you back, in fact, not to we won't talk about the sprint race, don't worry. We will talk about the pole position. You're welcome. We'll talk about the pole position lap though, because that was a masterclass in qualifying pace. Half a second to find. Just was that. I don't know what the right way of wording this question is, but I guess, did you just have that innate confidence in the car, one that sometimes just brings you to another level? Just talk us through that pole position lap, because it seemed like you were at one with the car.
It might seem like that, but all I'm saying is there's more time in the lap, at least 3 times.
Ladies and gentlemen, be afraid. Very afraid. Rio Harris, over to you.
3 tenths? Are you mad?
Mate, I'm 5th in the world at F2 on the Zandvoort.
Do you know what, Rio? We shouldn't really be surprised that he won, I think. Just...
Bloody sweat.
I did 40 minutes of practice, by the way.
Oh, that's a lie. Now he just sat there at midnight just driving Formula 2. Bloody hell,
40 hours. 40 hours of practice.
As soon as the checkered flag waves last time out, it was just straight to F2. Yeah, I'm gonna lock in for this race. But no, fair plays on your win. Obviously, I'm gonna speak on what Carl wouldn't speak about. What happened in the sprint race?
Well, people braked early. I was not locked in. I tapped the back of Yuri, and then I lost it on the acceleration.
Suboptimal.
Yep.
That's the same
I mean,
destination.
at least you made up for it in the feature race with obviously your first win in
a while.
A light year, you could say, in your terms. Obviously, like you said, your first win since your championship decider, which I have no idea what happened there because I was not here for.
But crucially,
Yeah, it was a while ago.
But crucially,
To be fair, I think the sprint DNF actually helped me because I literally got off my PC, went to watch the fucking game that was happening, came back right as lap 29 was ending, so that was perfect timing.
What game? I'm now curious.
It's the Romanian League.
No clue then.
the point is, though, Sneck is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back winning. And for that reason, everybody, should be extremely fearful. But that will be
Dun,
all found
dun,
out at the next
dun.
race. Exactly. See, cue the music. But next
Oh, yeah.
race is at Silverstone in reverse. I would ask you about the stipulations, but you know what? I have full faith in you. You're going to do great things. So, Sneck, I'll leave you to get on with your evening, mostly because I'm
Give me a
sweating
second.
and it's really hot, so I can't imagine how you feel. But, well done. You deserve it. Excellent, excellent drive. Go and enjoy it. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, hopping in for a second. I'm gonna have a great time next weekend because I'm not gonna be racing. I'm gonna be in another
Ah.
fucking country.
Well, you know what? Enjoy your time. When you're back, though, we expect great things. We'll see you then.
Yeah,
Take
see
care
you,
of yourself,
lads.
mate.
See you.
Wonderful. There you go. Snekev on the line. Apologies for any... I have to apologise for the language. The point is, if this was another stream, you know what like quip I'd make next, but I'm not going to on this show. The point is, apologies for the language, because Katie will give me a slap around the chops if I don't say it. Now, moving on to our next interview person, we're going to go over to Mr. L. Sheehan. Welcome in, Sheehan.
Oh, God.
Good to have you here. Oh, God, indeed. You're in the booth.
I was talking to people.
But welcome in. Sorry we've dragged you out of your conversation. But Formula 2 cars seem like a bit of a mixed state of affairs, but you made the most out of it despite that, I feel.
Yeah, never do that again. Never. I don't. Yeah, like that was terrible in my opinion. To be fair, I couldn't get qualifying done because I was at the bloody lobby. I would have gotten, I think, near the front at least. But no, I was P16 instead. So yeah, P16 to crash map challenge to 2 races. Already too much of one to handle in my opinion. But yeah, racing standards was not great in the latter half of the grid. Like 19.5 billion times I was pile drived, contacted, and stuff. And then when I was in clean air, it was just boring. I had pace, but just no one to fight with, and it was very sleepy race. You knew 69 laps of Zandvoort and Formula 2 cars would not be fun. Who could have seen that one coming? Not me.
Just to get an idea from your end, how much practice did you, or how much time have you dedicated to the F2 cars, just to get a gauge?
Before this league, I did not race F2 cars for 5 years. This is 2021 was my last one I did, and that was in my F2 prime when I was in my last league season F2. I won every single race, sprint included, and on pole. It was a great time to be me for F2 cars at least. But then I stopped doing F2 cars because I want to focus more on F1. So yeah, and I come back. I attempt time trial first, get a 17.0. That's pretty good. Top 20, I think, near enough. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Then I did some race practice, and that was it for like a day because I'm just hit with uni work and also at work. So there's not much I could have done anyway. So I was going in pretty much blind, all things considered. Thankfully, my teammate told me that you'll run out of fuel in the feature race if you're not careful. So, which was a good thing he did, because I would have been parked on the side of the road if I didn't know that, because I didn't do the feature race practice.
Fair
I just
enough.
did a few laps of the sprint race.
No.
Yeah, but I disconnected anyway. No internet problems. Wheel issue every time. You play for too long on my wheel, Thrustmaster T248, it will disconnect you if you play for a long while, and that's why I wasn't in the lobby at the end of practice. I tried to leave earlier to get the invite, but it didn't work, and I couldn't join quali because it's a one shot. But either way, I guess it wouldn't have worked because I've still DC'd like lap 37 from a potential P5. So yeah, good work undone, to say the least.
Yes, good work undone. But more to the point, you still put
Yeah.
in the good work. So that's ultimately
The good work was put in, but it was undone.
It was,
So
yeah. It's the crux of EA Sport. I was going to say racing, but EA Sports. But what can you do? Rio Harris, over to you. Do you have a
not
question
much.
for Mr. Sheehan?
I don't have any questions, but if you could qualify, if you did qualify, where do you reckon you could have finished in the race if you had a optimal qualifying?
Podium. End of.
Confidence.
There it is. Podium.
There you go. Confidence.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, you need the confidence. I mean, to be fair, every single league race in this league has been non-podium, podium, non-podium, podium, non-podium. So next week I should be on the podium.
There you go.
By
I
that standard.
love that trend.
So we're coming back.
Yes.
We're coming back.
You heard it here first. Confirmed podium. If he's not on there, he's like,
Yeah, it's Silverstone in the first as well, so it's all going to be about qualifying. There's going to be no overtakes in the race because Silverstone reverse, dirty air, hits like a train in rush hour. It's not fun.
Completely fair. Well, Sheehan, obviously, I mean, a pleasure talking to you as always. I'm sorry it didn't materialise, but Silverstone in reverse should bear more fruit. So I wish you luck.
Hopefully, my result gets reversed into P1. Comedy.
Absolutely. We'll see you then. Have a good evening, mate. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Bye.
Beautiful. Well, there you go. I am sweating significantly.
oh my.
Now, honestly, I can't get over how much action there was. But, yeah. Look, listen, we'll wrap up the show. But, Space Boy, I know you're waiting. I'm so sorry that we're not going to be able to interview because me and Rio are literally melting as we speak. But what I'm going to do is give you a round of applause like this. You know why? It's because you hate the F2 cars, but you still finished the race. And that deserves all the adulation, really. My driver of the day right there is LL Space Boy. Take all the other awards away, give him the championship. But, Rio Harris, we have to name a driver today who is driver of the day. So, who do you put forward for your vote?
I will probably say Sneck, considering the. Is this the whole thing or just the feature race?
We'll call it. Do you know what? We'll call driver of the day for the whole thing. We'll do an encapsulation.
Oh. I was gonna say Sneck, but he didn't have an optimal
Yeah.
sprint race. I would put Adam in the mix because he kept the leaders honest for the most part. Then obviously, I mean, I think it's either personally, in my opinion, I think either Adam or. I would have put Solus Indy in there because he started last both times. I think he was on. I don't know where he finished in the sprint. Might have been the top 10, but I think I'm just gonna. I think I'll just say. I'll say Sheldonby. He did very well to hold off the threats from Yuri. Obviously, strategic masterclass in the sprint to calculate it all, and then did what he could with the VSC. Just kind of was his misfortune in the end for the feature race win. What about you?
Ooh, good question. Well, my vote would have gone to Sneck for his pole position time that was just dominating, and then the race win, which once he got in front, never looked back. But ultimately, my driver of the day has to be Space Boy, my GOAT. He actually finished the feature race. He finished a race in the F2 cars. Pure hatred fueled his quest for points. And ultimately, he left with a few. So that right there is my GOAT. But we leave the GOAT of league racing once again, TTYB. Of course, myself, Carl Poranic, and the wonderful Rio Harris alongside me. A sensational second commentary with you in the booth. It's been a pleasure, my friend. But where can the people find you on an internet?
Well, I've officially changed all of my names to Rio Harris F1 on pretty much everything now, apart from Instagram, which is still Rio_UK_. But yeah, I suppose just Rio Harris F1. I've got a lot of because I've got the CSS charity event.
Oh yes, he does. No,
What about you then?
Oh, what about me? Well, I'll tell you where you can't find me, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the twists and turns of Turkmenistan. You won't find me there. But where you will find me is at my name, Carl Poranic, all listed as one word, as the following, as you will see in a moment. Right there. If you type that in on a Twitch, an Instagram, fax machine, carrier peacock, and all other unnamed forms of social media and mail delivering devices, you'll probably find me there. What a pleasure it has been. And now, all that remains for me to do is start queuing up the tune. And you know what tune that is, ladies and gentlemen.
Follow that tune.
Every time. What? Name that tune? Composed by Fortis, ladies and gentlemen. I'm told by reliable sources that he was the one that made it. Just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive thank you to every single one of you for watching. TTYB, this Twitch channel, is closing in on 100 followers. Make sure you follow if you aren't already. What rapturous racing action we have seen. But finally, history is made. It's not Chaldonby, it's not Yuri, but I'll tell you who it is. Finally, a new name is on the front of the Parthenon. Sneck brings this Greek tragedy into a romantic comedy. Thanks for watching Throttle to Your Bottle. Take care of yourselves. Good night.
Ride it on the edge, one mistake away from gravel, glory's ledge, push it past the you lift or break. If you're not dancing with disaster, you're not wide awake. Throttle till you bottle. This is how we race. In the fire of endurance, we find our place. Side by side into turn 3. Drafting down the straight like we're born to be. F1 pace with an LMP soul. Pit stop dreams, flat out goals. Overtake clean or defend like hell. DRS wide and the gap won't dwell. Discord's lit but the track comes first. Champions are built where the tires burst. Throttle till you bottle. Feel the G's rise. Tearing through the sim world under pixel skies. No reset button, just grit and gears. Through the heat and the heartbreak, the wins and the tears. Till you bottle. It's the racer's creed. Full send in the sim, full heart at speed. From rookies to vets, we ride the storm. In lobbies where legends are born. Camaraderie and chaos, rivals and mates, one shared love. Those checkered flag fades. Throttle till you bottle. Ain't no turning back. Burn the line till the screen fades black. In this digital circus, we chase the flame. One wheel spin closer to fortune or fame. Throttle till you bottle. That's our name. Sim racers united in the ultimate game.